Good afternoon. Welcome to the Green in Comber here in Northern Ireland for this IP trophy game between Northwest Warriors and the Munster Reds. John Kenny, Isabel Joyce in commentary. The teams are taking the pitch. Let's first, though, go for the toss and join Andrew Blair-White.
Welcome to the toss here at Comber for this IP20 festival game between the Northwest Warriors and the Munster Reds. Delighted to be joined at the toss by match referee Phil Thompson, Munster Reds captain Tyrone Kane and Northwest Warriors captain Andy McBride. Phil's got the coin and Tyrone's going to call.
Heads. Heads the call. And heads it is.
We're going to have a ball scrap.
Tyrone, you've decided to bowl first, probably pretty understandable given the conditions.
Yeah, look, it's a small ground here, so I think you want to be chasing anyway, regardless of the conditions. So, yeah, it's going to be hopefully do a bit with the ball. So, have a look that way.
It's been obviously quite wet. Yesterday being washed out, this morning's game being delayed through a wet outfield as well. Has that been playing on your mind whatsoever?
No, not really. You just have to get on with it. It's cricket in September at the end of the day, so just suck it up and get in amongst it. There's still a cup there to be won, so that's all that's on our mind.
And the return for both yourself into this side and Gareth Delaney into the side as well, which is brilliant for Munster cricket. Yeah,
it's great to have us back. The lads have done extremely well without us, so I think we're glad to be back in and ready to go.
Best of luck.
Thanks.
Andy, batting first, what would have you done at the toss?
We personally would have bowled first as well. As Tyrone said there, it's quite a small ground. It can be tricky to defend scores here, but obviously I don't think our wicket's going to change massively in 40 overs, so obviously we're going to have to bat well and hopefully defend the total in the second innings.
Obviously renowned for being such good pitches here in Comber, you must be excited.
Well, the first ball has just been bowled. You haven't missed any of the action at all. William Porterfield pushing one straight down the ground from the bowling of Josh Manley. So finally we're underway. Isabel Joyce, John Kenny with you, and as you saw, the toss conducted by Andrew Blair-White, with the Northwest Warriors losing the toss and being asked to bat. Josh Manley bowling now from the Mount Alexander end. And there is a fielder down there, so that's the first run on the board. Well, today this was supposed to be game 4 of this 6-game series, this festival of cricket, but sadly yesterday the Northern Knights and the Northwest Warriors game and the Leinster Lightning and the Munster Reds game fell foul to the weather. We had hoped to have a match this morning between the Knights and the Leinster Lightning, but the outfield was very wet here and it only dried out in the last couple of hours, so at least we're underway. A 15-minute delay. Again, it was due to start at 3 o'clock, but finally, Isabel Joyce, we're underway, and what a big game this is. Northwest Warriors, as the result of the no result yesterday in their game, stand on 20 points, 2 ahead of the Leinster Lightning. And with victory today, they would be crowned the IP20 champions. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, John. Yeah, huge game for the Northwest Warriors, but also a big game for Munster Reds. They want to finish the season on a high. They've currently got 10 points, and they've got some big players back in the fold today. Great to see Gareth Delaney, he's back in, and Tyrone Kane taking the field. They still are missing Curtis Camphor, but 2 out of 3 I'll be happy with.
Down the leg side, opening the batting today for the Northwest Warriors, William Porterfield, who's shown a really good return to form in the Irish colours as well, especially in the 50-over version of the game. Terrific knocks against Zimbabwe recently. And Stephen Doheny is at the other end, the 23-year-old from Rush, opening the batting today, the wicketkeeper for the Northwest Warriors. So that's our opening pair, and Josh Manley is bowling now from the Mount Alexander end, from where we're commentating from. The commentary box end is known as the pavilion end here at the Green in Comber. It's just tickle off the legs and it's going to come down in our general direction and trickle through for 4 runs. Nicely worked off the hip by William Porterfield.
Yeah, first bounder of the day. It's always good to get that away. William Porterfield, as you said, in great form at the moment, but his partner Stephen Doheny's been in really good form in club cricket. Couple of centuries to his name in the last few weeks, so he comes into this weekend with form as well.
Manley, 26 years of age now, beats the outside of the bat, throws the head back in anguish. It was a good ball, left to Honey.
Yeah, good areas from him, and good to see a slip in place as well. In fact, there were 2 slips in for the right-handed Delaney, just 1 in for William Porterfield, opting to have a little bit more protection on the offside for the in-form Ireland player.
Last ball then. This the opening over. It's in the air, but it's going to go over the fielders in the infield. Small ground here, and if it pierces that infield, it's going to roll away to the boundary. So productive start for the Northwest Warriors. 11 off it, 11 for naught at the end of the first over.
Yeah, not really where he meant to hit it. You can see kind of his head whipped around to the left there. He was worried he hadn't got enough of it to get it over the infield, but he did, and it's the second boundary of that over for Porterfield.
So we had hoped to play that match this morning, Isabel, Northern Knights against the Leinster Lightning, but the outfield was just too damp. Thankfully we got a bit of sunshine this afternoon, which has dried things out quite well. And as I said, a very important game for the Warriors. If they win, they will become the champions. You've been digging into why it's dried out so well this afternoon.
Yeah, it's known as the driest ground in the north, actually, and historically it was the bleaching green for the town's flax mill. So that means it's the driest place around. It's apparently got, and I'll defer to Brenda Hand here. She tells me there's timbers underneath the ground.
Okay.
So apparently that means that aids the drying. So we're lucky to have that be the case as Aaron Cawley comes in, takes the second over.
A little bit of a loosener to start.
He does tend to sometimes just push it down leg side with that wrist. Needs to try and stand the ball up a little bit better. Does swing it away when he gets it right.
Warriors, obviously, Isabel, will come to this game pretty much strong favourites, being top of the table, and internationals like McBride and Porterfield involved, Shane Getgate, Conor Alford. They have a very strong lineup, but Munster themselves have got a decent lineup as well, with the likes of Tyrone Kane, their captain, back, Gareth Delaney, the 2 forward boys, Greg and Matt, Fionn Hand, Josh Manley, who saw the South African born bowler opening the bowling from the far end, the Mount Alexander end. So they're pretty evenly matched teams, I would have thought, even though the Warriors are probably the favourites for this game.
Yeah, PJ Moore is the highest run scorer as well. He's got the gloves for the Munster Reds. So plenty of batting options for them, and they won't fear chasing anything down. Good lift from Aaron Cawley. He's a tall, strong guy. Does get anything out of the wicket if there is anything to be had.
So there's 2 more games planned for this weekend. Tomorrow morning, 10:30 start. We're hoping for the Knights against the Reds. That's weather permitting. If the Reds turn over the Warriors today, we would have a winner-take-all Leinster Lightning Northwest Warriors game. From a neutral's point of view, that's probably what we're looking for. Looking for Munster to, I suppose, spoil the party today.
Little shimmy down, but good length from Aaron Cawley. Yeah, it would be great if, first of all, if that game gets in tomorrow, but also if there's something to play for. It would be a first interprovincial T20 trophy for the Northwest Warriors if they do take that trophy home, and I think that's something that will be not worrying them. But sometimes they say you have to lose one to win one. They haven't got this trophy yet, so it's a bit of a habit winning trophies, and Leinster Lightning are the ones who've really done it the most. Really good comeback this from Aaron Cawley since that first wild delivery down leg side. 4 dots.
Dot balls, as we know, very important in this form of the game. Have you played here before in your career?
No, never been here before. Beautiful ground, lovely facilities, nice short boundaries as well, which is always good to see as a batter.
This is really good bowling, isn't it? Started with a wide, with 5 dot balls in a row now. 11 from the first over, but this is much more stingy from Cawley this time around. Doheny having great difficulty getting bat on ball.
Yeah, he's trying to change the length, Stephen Doheny. He's looked to do that a couple of times. He's shimmied down, but Cawley's alive to the danger and just pulls his length back each time. Gets good lift as well, so Doheny can't get his hands through it. that's better, I think. Better option, stays still, clips it off the legs. That'll be at least 2 runs. Just hits it into the vacant gap behind backward square.
And that ends the second over. And the Warriors progress their score now to 14 without loss. We're going to change of bowling now immediately. Josh Manley got a little bit of treatment in the opening over. Went for 11. So they've immediately turned to Matt Ford, 27-year-old. With his off breaks coming in now from the Mount Alexander end. Good move this, do you think?
Yeah, in fact, I was going to suggest perhaps they would bring on a spinner early. Well, he's an off spinner bowling to Porterfield. He's a left-hander, so that might be why they've gone with him. Usually bowls around the wicket to the right-hander, but he'll stay around to the left-hander as well, just taking the ball away from William Porterfield. And almost has his wicket straight away. He's appealing there because he thinks maybe it hit the pad first, but I think that's the right call from umpire Rowdy Black. He's operating at the Mount Alexander end.
And it's Rowdy Black and Alan Neal, our 2 standing umpires. Phil Thompson, you saw earlier on, conducting the toss with Andrew Blair White. 2 Ford brothers playing for Munster Reds today. Sons of Graham Ford, the Irish coach, men's coach. Matt has qualified for Ireland actually back in 2020, ex of the Leinster Lightning.
That's the second time it's taken the inside half of William Porterfield's bat. He's struggling against the offspin of Matt Ford.
Talking to some of the players before this game, they said that this is a really, really good pitch to play on. Short enough boundaries around the ground, but the pitch itself is in very good nick apparently. Despite all the rain, it's been undercover for quite a while the last couple of days with the amount of rain we've had this area.
Yeah, it's got a good history of actual international cricket as well, warm-up games and things like that being played here, so they take great pride in their pitch, and so it's no surprise that the interprovincial players enjoy playing here.
It's a good start from Ford. Beats the outside of Doheney's bat. He tried to go for the big heave over the bowler's head, but the spin deceived him. Just eased into the leg side for a single off the final ball, so Doheney will retain the strike at the end of the third over. The Warriors, who are put into bat, are 16 without loss.
That's really good bowling from Matt Ford. Just made sure he got out of the over there. Didn't give any flight, no arms to Stephen Doheney. Made sure he didn't go for a boundary off the last ball too from it. That's massive for the Munster Reds. A really difficult bowler to face, Matt Ford. Bowls at decent pace. He used to be a seam bowler, but too many injuries meant he had to turn to spin. He used to be out and out quick, apparently, back in his younger days in South Africa. So Aaron Cawley will return for his second from the pavilion end.
Again, beats the outside of the bat. He was doing that in his first over. In terms of the table now, the Northwest Warriors have played 7 games and won no result from yesterday's abandonment. Leinster Lightning have played 8 games. Warriors are on 20 points. Lightning are on 18. The Knights are on 16 from 8 games played. And the Reds themselves, as you mentioned, 10 points from their 7 games. So this is about Warriors winning today and winning the title. If they lose, it'll go down to that final game tomorrow afternoon if we get a go-ahead with the weather against the Leinster Lightning. It's a good tight spell this is from Cawley and Ford at the other end. A little expensive in his only over so far, Josh Manley, but good comeback from these two.
Yeah, he bowls with decent pace, and you can see the way that it's carrying through to the wicketkeeper that this is actually a really good batting wicket, good pace in it, but the length that Cawley is bowling from his height is making it difficult for Stephen Doherty. We might see him do something like back away, try and give himself some room to hit through or over point.
It's gone down the leg side. That's beaten the wicket keeper as well, and that's 5 wides. Well, having said that, he's been bowling so well on that off stump. Gets 1 down the leg side, and that's an expensive delivery as well. 5 to the total.
Yeah, it just kept going. No chance for PJ Moore behind the stumps to cut that one off. Fine leg is in the ring in 45, but he wouldn't have been fine enough to stop that anyway. It's just, that's the mistake that Cawley makes. He sometimes tries too hard. He falls away to the offside and his bowling arm pushes it down the leg side.
Cawley hails from the Horse and Jockey in County Tipperary, not exactly a hotbed of cricket. So made his T20 debut for the Reds in the 2017 Interprovincial Trophy. Plays his club cricket for Phoenix, the 21-year-old. And we've got a right-left combination, Isabel, here, don't we, with Donaghy and William Porterfield. So if they keep the scoreboard ticking over, they'll just keep moving the field around.
Yeah, it's not as big of a deal in T20 cricket. You don't mind swapping in the field for the 20-over game. It's in the 50-over game that it gets very tiresome, but you have to feel for the umpires. They have to go over and back as well.
Nicely bowled.
He finds it quite easy, I think, to change his line, Aaron Cawley, for the left-right. It's his natural... when he falls away, as I was saying, he goes down leg for the right-hander, but for the left-hander, it's the right delivery. So he looks like he gets straight on the money to the left-handed Porterfield.
He's played himself back into the Irish team now. William Porterfield opening the batting for the 50-over team. Has a go with that. Now assistant to the Warriors coach, his good friend Gary Wilson. It's obviously something that Porterfield will be looking further down the line to move into. I know he's done some work recently with Warwickshire.
I think he's undecided. He's doing some other work as well, I think in real estate, so he's got his options open, but he's well respected by the players and in particular an excellent fielding coach.
Well, there was a big cry of no from Doherty, but Porterfield was confident. He was running to the danger end, and it was an easy single in the end.
Yeah, it was the right call. They've run 2 really good singles that over. It's four gone, and the Northwest Warriors are 23 without loss. I think the problem was for Doherty, he was thinking the bowler was going to field it. He forgot that the bowler was on the other side of the wicket to the ball.
Steady start then from the Northwest Warriors, having been put into bat, having lost the toss. William Porterfield on 11, Doherty on 5, and 23 with that loss at the end of 4 overs. And it is, despite the late start, still a 20-over game. Game 4 of the series. The first 3 all abandoned, sadly.
And Matt Ford will bowl his second. William Porterfield will be more pleased with that shot than any of the ones he showed in Matt Ford's previous over. He's looking very streaky. The 2 fielders out are long on and deep square leg.
Under edge. It's just going to hold up in the field. And 2 runs to the total. Greg Ford doing the fielding just in front of us.
He was looking to try and go to deep mid-wicket there, William Porterfield, and so stood up a little bit, probably there for the sweep and not the slog sweep.
That's a good shot, gives himself some room. There's a fielder down there, good stop. Just cuts it off and prevents the boundary. Just gave himself a little bit of room there, William Porterfield. Good shot down the ground, but couldn't beat the fielder.
Yeah, gave himself room. Matt Ford was good enough to kind of follow him, and it was nearly like a baseball shot in the end, stuck in the pitch a little bit. But yeah, 2.
Beats the outside edge. Big heave by Doherty.
It's a difficult one to face right arm off spin when they're bowling around the wicket because he's pushing it across. Doheny, the right-hander, and just trying to hit PJ Moore's right glove behind the stumps. Difficult to play straight.
Doheny down the track. There's a fielder down there, though. Just be a single.
Yeah, it seems to be his go-to, doesn't it? When he's tied down, he just likes to shuffle down the pitch. Hasn't really worked against the quick bowler Cawley, but more effective against Ford.
In the air. There's a fielder under it. That could be the end of Porterfield. Yeah, it's an easy catch in the end. It just didn't get the necessary thump of the bat on that. Just looped it up in the air, and the first wicket to fall at the end of the 5th over, with Porterfield looping one in the air. Easy catch.
Yeah, good steadying from Gareth Delaney. That's his first impact on cricket in a long time. He was out injured, and this is his return to cricket. Good bowling from Matt Ford. So Porterfield has to go for 14.
New batsman is Andy McBride, the Northwest Warriors captain. Doesn't bat this high up the order when he's playing for Ireland, but has been moved up to number 3, number 4 in the IP series this year. 27 years of age now, left-hand bat. Captain of Donamana and also of the Northwest Warriors, who are on the cusp here of winning this title if they overcome the Munster Reds today. But after the opening over where Josh Mandy went for 11, this has been a good reply from the Munster Reds, getting rid of the dangerous William Porterfield for 14.
They've been impressive. Really good captaincy, I think, as well, from Tyrone Kane. He's changed his bowlers up well. He's not stuck on one tactic, willing to change his bowler's ends as well. So it looks like Josh Manley will be changing ends and coming from the pavilion end for the 6th over.
Yeah, our caption hasn't quite caught up with the actuality on the field, so it's 27 for 1 at the end of 5 overs. And the change of bowling from the pavilion end, as Isabel mentions, Josh Mandy, who opened the bowling from the far end, the Mount Alexander end, and went for 11 in his opening over. A couple of boundaries on that, so he switched ends. See if he can have more success then from the pavilion end.
A nice shot to start for Andy McBride. No real chance of any runs though. Packed offside field. Third man is out, so it's deep square leg.
Would you think it would be a good score here? Have you kind of calculated what would be a good score to chase?
You know, I've been thinking, I think about 160 is par. 150, 160. Edged and through.
Yeah, there's all sorts going on there and all sorts of claims. Is he claiming for LBW? Was it dropped behind? It's come off the leg, so it's irrelevant. It was a really decent ball.
Well, it's unlikely to be out. I think that's an easy decision for Alan Neil. The tall right arm bowler bowling over the wicket to the left hander, so it's unlikely to have pitched in line. Probably going over as well. Not a lot going for it. There it is. He's backed away this time, but just not successful. It's a tough shot to execute, back away and cut. Your momentum moving away from the ball, and then you're throwing your hands at it.
Really is a nice afternoon finally here. We arrived yesterday morning, absolutely pouring with rain. It just didn't ease up all day and was no chance of play yesterday. We had hoped to get some play this morning, but sadly the outfield was far too wet. That's nicely played. Just eased down to third man for a single. It was just far too wet this morning. Took an awful long time to dry it. Finally we got a bit of sunshine which dried it out, so we got this 15-minute late start to this particular game. The Warriors against the Munster Reds. Game 4 of this 6-match festival of cricket. And very important these games as well, Isabel, because we're building up to a World Cup for the men's team in October.
Yeah, they head off on Friday for that tour, and this is the last chance of live cricket in Ireland before that. Big appeal and gone. full and straight. That one was adjacent, and that's the big wicket of Andy McBride. Really good comeback this from Josh Manley. Bowls the Yorker. It's just come back a tiny bit. Hit Andy McBride in front of leg stump. That's the captain. He's gone for a duck. 29 for 2.
Slad lonely trudge back for the captain, Andy McBride, gone for a duck. And 27 for 1, now turns into 29 for 2. And the Warriors, who were put into bat, who would have bowled themselves had they won the toss, now find themselves staring down a little bit of the barrel of the gun. And here comes Shane Getgate, who was part of the Irish team that beat Zimbabwe up in Stormont, just up the road, on Monday. And he's coming in after the dismissal of Andy McBride.
Yeah, coming in at 4. In fact, it's his bowling that's been his major skill in the last week or two, and I think he'd call himself a batting all-rounder. I'm sure we'll see him with ball in hand later on. Really exciting batsman, Shane Getgate. If he can get going, hits a big ball. Really strong, big guy. Sometimes gets himself into trouble playing little kind of sweeps and reverse sweeps. In fact, he should just keep on whacking it over the bowler's head, in my opinion. 2 slips in for him. So they smell blood in the water here, Munster Reds. I think this is good captaincy from Tyrone Kane, attacking when they've taken 2 quick wickets.
Yep, Porterfield gone for 14. Caught Delaney, bowled Matt Ford. And Andy McBride also on his way for a duck. LBW bowled Manley. To end the 6th over, they're 29 for 2.
I think that power play has to go to the Munster Reds. First over, as you said, went for 11. But since then, they've really been on top, and it's going to be another change of bowling. The first time we'll have a look at Fionn Han today, bowling from the Mount Alexander end. In fact, I don't think it is Fionn Han. I can't quite see who it is. We'll update you now.
Or is it Mike Frost?
I think it is, you're right.
Yeah, it is Mike Frost, wearing 18, the 20-year-old South African who holds an Irish passport. Added to the Ireland Wolves team for their tour to Namibia. Made his T20 debut earlier on this year for the Reds. So he's coming on at the far end now, the Mount Alexander end. And his team in a good position. The Warriors on 29 for 2. They're going to continue with spin now.
The field is spread, so they'll find it easier to take the score over here in Northwest Warriors. Cover is out, long off, long on, deep mid wicket and square leg. But Tyrone Kane's going to change that around. He's going to bring himself into mid.
Get off the mark.
Very good pace here, Frost. Chances down and clipped into the leg side. Looks like he wants to get things going here. Stephen Doheney, uncharacteristically, his strike rate's almost 50. It's only just above 50%. Usually goes quite hard early and can tend to just get out for a 20 or so.
So 5 singles in a row. And that's a dot ball to end the 7th over, with the Warriors put into bat 34 for 2. Thanks to Isabel for the time being. We will hear her back in action again towards the end of the innings. Andrew Blair White is now joining me. That's the Warriors scorecard so far. The 2 to fall. William Porterfield gone for 14. And Manley got the important one, the captain of the Northwest Warriors, LBW, for naught. Good afternoon to you, Andrew.
Yeah, good afternoon, John. It's been tough going so far for the Northwest Warriors. Probably the pitch not playing quite as well as both sides potentially predicted before the game. It's obviously been under wraps for so long that you'd come to expect that, but at the same time you'd think from a Munster Reds perspective a good thing would be that the pitch will flatten out over time. Fionn Hand coming into the attack for the first time this afternoon from the pavilion end. He's been one of the bright sparks on this Munster Reds side throughout this competition.
And his Appreciation Society will be obviously tuned in this afternoon.
Ever-growing Appreciation Society as well.
Got to meet them for the first time in Pembroke. Their hero, Fionn Hand, the 22-year-old Dubliner, made his first-class debut for the Lightning in the 2019 Interprovincial Series. But now playing for the Munster Reds. That's a wide. Isabel was saying that 160 would be a very good score on this particular pitch. They'll have to go some to get to 160 at this stage.
Yeah, you'd think that, but at the same time, Comber's the type of ground you can make up runs very quickly. Very short, straight boundaries.
There's going to be two there. Yeah, it's all about timing of the innings, isn't it? You don't have a long period of time in which to bed yourself in this form of the game. You really do have to get on with it. But as you say, this is a short ground. Although it's a really, they've talked highly, all the players I've talked to, very highly about the state of this pitch. I think it's a very good one.
Yeah, well, the decks here are usually top class, some of the best in Ireland. And that's what they'll be thinking, that they can make up these runs in the later stages.
That's out. Easy. Nice easy catch for Josh Manley. Standing at a wideish mid-on, and it was straight to him. Nothing shot, and the third wicket falls. And the Warriors are in trouble.
Yeah, Shane Geke will be really disappointed with that. It's just a soft dismissal. He hasn't gone through with the shot. The shot he was trying to play there is exactly the right type of shot for that delivery. He can pull the ball so well, but he's ended up kind of half quitting on the shot halfway through it. Ends up lobbing it straight to Josh Manley at mid-wicket for a fairly regulation catch. And Fionn Hand yet again making things happen when coming on to bowl for the Munster Reds.
Yeah, and the Appreciation Society will be up off the couches at home in celebration. And that brings William McClintock to the crease for the Warriors, who find themselves in a very sticky position at 38 for 3 now, and we're only midway through the 7th over. Started with a blaze, 11 off the Manley first over, but since then they really have been pegged back. And this is the game that if they win, they will be crowned champions, but just in a little bit of a pickle at the moment.
Well, they are, and it brings William McClintock to the crease to probably have to play a slightly different sort of innings than we're usually used to seeing him. Usually comes in later on in innings and is able to act as a finisher. But he's been propelled up to number 5 in this Northwest Warriors order in T20 cricket. It's usually been a very aggressive order. Nathan Maguire, who's away with the Irish 19s at the moment, has been batting at number 3. Also a very aggressive batter as well. So it'll be interesting to see how McClintock approaches this innings.
Well, immediate intent. 2 steps outside of his crease and try to whack that into the offside. Good fielding out there as well. That was travelling at pace. But you can see, as you mentioned, immediate intent from McClintock.
Yeah, well, he doesn't really play any other way, McClintock. That's why I was saying how interesting it was going to be, how he's going to approach this innings, whether he's going to try and counter-attack, the way he can, trust his game.
It's a good over from Hand. Plenty of variation in it. Slower balls. Got the wicket as well. Good start.
Yeah, there just seems to be enough in this pitch, especially for the seamers. Just we saw with Aaron Cawley at the top, Josh Manley and now Fionn Hand all getting a little bit of movement, just enough to cause doubt.
Big swing from McClintock to end that over. It's a good one. 4 from it. And the wicket. and ends the 8th over with the Warriors on 38 for 3.
Yeah, it's been very impressive from the Munster Reds. Not for the first time this year, putting in a really good performance in the field. Their fielding's been excellent. The bowling has been very good as well. And I've been so impressed with this man, Mike Frost, the man on your screen. Came into the Munster Reds setup for that Breedy Interpro Festival. Really impressed there. Bowled very well for the Ireland Wolves against Zimbabwe a few weeks ago as well.
It's in the air. The cries of catch it. Well, it's going to fall between the two fielders. One coming in from the sweeper roll. It's just a single. Pumped high in the air. And fortunate there for Doheny, he survived.
Yeah, it's a crucial innings in the context of this game, Stephen Doheny's. He's struggled 12 off 21. But usually, if you're taking up that amount of dot balls, you have to go and see it through. You've got to try and build your innings. As I say, he can make it up, no problem. We all know the talent Stephen possesses and the shots he has. Just needs to grind it out. It hasn't been easy.
That's well bowled. Gave McClintock no room. Still itching to get off the mark. He's a big hitter. We know McClintock, 24 years of age, made his debut for the Warriors in 2017. Appeal, turned down.
Yeah, you're bang on, John. You can just sense with McClintock he's already ticking 5 dot balls in a row. A few big shots in there as well.
This is very good bowling, I must say, from Mike Frost. McClintock, you just get the sense that he just wants to open those big levers of his, but he's just being tied down. Oh, and out. Another one falls. And the big guy follows his captain back into the hutch. Out for a duck.
Yeah, really, really good bowling from Mike Frost. This one just going on with the arm and looked pretty adjacent, pretty straightforward decision for Rowley Black to have to make. And this Northwest Warriors innings is just never gotten going. 39 for 4 now, and as I say, it puts into context just how important Stephen Doheny's innings is going to be here, because he's going to have to try see it out, and it's going to bring Graham Kennedy to the crease, a really good cricketer in his own right. He's impressed an awful lot of people. He's gotten a few call-ups into the one-day international squads for Ireland this summer, and rightly so. Very good dual-purpose cricketer. But he's got a task on his hands here, John, because the Warriors are really reeling and they're in danger of posting no sort of score whatsoever.
Doheny is stuck on 12 because he's just after 21 deliveries, and all around him, starting to fall. Getgate gone, McBrien's gone, Porterfield at the top of the order gone, and now McClintock as well trudges that sad, lonely walk after a duck. So just over 11 overs to go, and they're stuck on 39 for 4, coming to the end of the 9th over. And when you consider that the first over from Josh Mandy went for 11, the subsequent 8 overs have been really, really good. 4 wickets to fall, and just the concession of 28 runs. And that single will take the Warriors on to 40 for 4 at the end of 9.
Yeah, again, indecision in the batter's mind there, coming off the inside edge of Kennedy's bat, but he'll be relieved to get down to the other end and get his innings underway.
Really is a shame we got washed out yesterday, wasn't it? We're really looking forward to this festival of 20 over cricket. Important games these as well for not just the inter-provincial sides and the Warriors, as we say, on the cusp of winning the trophy if they can win today. Well, there's a number of players obviously involved from all sides in the T20 World Cup in October for Ireland. Andy McBrien's not, the Irish captain Andy Balbirnie's not here. involved this weekend for the Leinster Lightning, as is Barry McCarthy. But we know Barry McCarthy got injured during the Ireland games against Zimbabwe, so they have been rested. The likes of Simi Singh were told that he would only play 2 games over the weekend, so he'll probably just get in 1 game tomorrow if the weather permits us. But it's really, really important for the likes of Singh, also Kevin O'Brien, just to get a bit of at-bat before they head off to the World Cup.
Yeah, massively. It's a great opportunity, and it's a great opportunity also for a team like the Munster Reds, made up of really good quality cricketers, and I've been very impressed under the guidance of Ted Williamson just how together this unit has become over the course of just a season. Very hard at the start of a year, turning up to a new team. Plenty of these guys have played a little bit together maybe for the Leinster Lightning, a couple have played for the Northern Knights, but it's a relatively fresh team, and to perform the way they did in the 50 over format and now knocking off big names in the 20 over format as well is brilliant from Ted and brilliant for Munster cricket.
Well, the Munster Reds have been part of the IP20 series now for a while, but they were not involved in either the 3-day game or the 50 over series. So for the first time they were in the 50 over series this year, and there was no 3-day games sadly because of the COVID restrictions this year. Hopefully they'll be back next year. But you're right, they've performed extremely well. Added to or aided by the fact as well that they've started to spread players across the provinces as well, and have strengthened it, in particular the Munster sides, with the likes of Delaney, Curtis Camphor, Tyrone Kane, who's now captaining the side, PG Moore et al.
It gives great opportunity for these guys, and Fionn Han, the man on your screen, is a case in point. He's played a number of times for the Leinster Lightning over the last number of years, but hasn't ever been a regular fixture within that side, and he's gone to play for the Munster Reds. He's found a home and is really impressed, and I think it's to the benefit of Irish cricket, with as many of these guys getting as big an opportunity as possible to prove themselves with both bat and ball. And I, for one, we've covered an awful lot of interprovincial games together, me and you, John, and it's been a joy to watch this year just how competitive and how good quality the cricket has been.
Yeah, Leinster Lightning have really been the dominant force. We know that in all 3 forms of this game at the interprovincial level. So it is good to see that they're getting a bit of competition, and particularly this year. Oh, they're going to run through an overthrow, and also a bit of a misfield as well from the captain. So welcome single to end that, the 10th over. So we're halfway through the innings for the Northwest Warriors. Put into bat, having lost the toss earlier on today, and they've got their 10 overs to go. But it's a shaky start, 43 for 4. Porterfield the first man to go over the score on 29. And 27. Andy McBride with the score on 29. Then quickly followed by Getgate for 3 with the score on 38. And then William McClintock with the score on 39. He also out for a duck. So the very important 10 overs to come for the Warriors here.
Yeah, massively. Certainly advantage to the Munster Reds in this first 10. As you can see from the partnerships there on your screen, just failing to get anything together in the last couple of overs. It's been a real hard slog, and it's a testament to how good the bowling's been from the Munster Reds. Nobody's let them down yet. Been very few free deliveries to get the arms through, and Mike Frost continues very good so far, 1 for 6.
Might chance a second here. No, it'll just be the single. That's good strong feeling from Josh Mandy coming in quickly from the boundary. Just a comparison at the end of the 5th over, the Warriors were 27 for 1. At the end of 10, 43 for 4. It just shows how well the Munster Reds have bowled. Sun breaking through here, which is great to see. Lots of clouds around. Hopefully we won't be in trouble later on. We'll get a full 20 overs in and get the final 2 matches in tomorrow. Ball in the air, and that's going to go for the maximum, I would say. Straight down the ground over the bowler's head. Nice shot from Delaney, and he's the pivotal man now in this particular innings, I would think.
Yeah, definitely, and he's done very well there. He's just waited for it. Mike Frost, it's the first time Frost. It's just kind of a little bit loopier there, and unfortunately at Comber you've such little amount of room straight to work with as a spin bowler that Delaney's just got to the pitch of the ball, and a real first shot in anger from him. Moves to 19 and potentially could kickstart his innings.
It's a short enough boundary down there as well, so any kind of whack on the ball, decent whack on the ball, is going to go for the maximum. That's good cricket. Take the 6 and then just trundle the ball into the leg side to take a single to follow that up. And it's a case of now of Doherty being the anchor role here with Kennedy for these next 9 and a bit overs, if they're going to get past the 100 mark and post a decent total for themselves to defend. Good stop by the captain at backward point.
Yeah, I think the key for the Warriors is just making sure that they can get up to a score that is in any way defendable. Get yourself something on the board in and around that 120, 130 mark. Just gives you a sniff. Probably would be under par, but these two are absolutely crucial in doing so. As that ends the 11th over, a better one for the Warriors on this occasion, 9 runs from it, and they've moved on to 52 for 4.
Now, our social media channels are open now if you want to get in contact with us. At Cricket Ireland is the Twitter handle. Also on Instagram as well. I'd love to hear from you. At Cricket Ireland is the Twitter handle. 52 for 4 having been put into bat. And Fionn Hand to continue. A couple of decent overs to start his spell. 1 for 7 from those 2. Ball's in the air. Just the single though. There's a sweeper. They've got to show intent though now, haven't they?
They do. Well, they have to be busy. They've got to try and rotate as much as possible. Interesting, Kennedy seems to be really wanting to flay this cut shot away, and he plays his cut shot with an awful lot of flair with his back leg up in the air. Just doesn't seem to be coming on quite as easily for that shot to be implemented.
Good comeback by Hand. Doherty ducking under a fast one. It was right under his nose.
Yeah, it's good bowling from Fionn Hand. It just reminds Doherty that he does have that delivery up the locker. It's a variation ball.
Good fielder, Fionn Hand. The Appreciation Society was set up after a blinding catch he took in Pembroke earlier on this year after he got a fair old whacking from, I can't think who it was.
Simi Singh, I think.
Simi Singh, yeah, whacked him for the first 5 deliveries, a couple of 6s, a couple of 4s. Looks like he was going to get a real hammering in that. And then the last ball, he sticks out a big paw and gets it, Simi Singh out. An unbelievable catch. Good shot. Cut backward a square and rolls all the way through for a very welcome boundary.
Yeah, it's a seriously good shot from Graham Kennedy. I was saying earlier in the over about how he was playing that cut shot and he was almost going at it too hard. On this occasion he's almost let it lean on the bat. It's a late cut past that backward point fielder Jack Carty and has ran away for 4. And as you say, John, really welcome runs these, and both Kennedy and Doherty doing a decent job thus far of slightly steadying the ship and giving the Warriors a platform to build on in that last 4 or 5 overs.
Yeah, 19-run partnership so far since they came together. A bold, a good take as well. That's a good stop. We Wicketkeeper would not have been expecting that, having to dive away to his right-hand side. PJ Moore, the Zimbabwean, standing behind the stumps today for the Reds. Little inside edge then to end that, the 12th over. Single from it, 59 for 4.
Yeah, another good change up to finish up there from Fionn Hand. Slower delivery on this occasion, and getting a thick inside edge down to fine leg for 1.
Here's the bowling figures so far, Andrew. Manley got a little bit of smack in the first over, went for 11, but it's been good bowling performances all the way through. Frost a little bit expensive in his last over, having only conceded 6 runs in his first 2, but a good all-round performance from these 5 Munster Red bowlers.
Yeah, well, you'd rarely see a bowling card in T20 cricket with not a single bowler going at more than a run a ball. We're going to see a change in bowling. It's going to be Matt Ford coming back into the attack. He's become a real vital cog in the wheel for the Munster Reds with the ball in hand, which is probably something that would have surprised plenty at the start of the year. Got his first bowl for the side down in the Mardyke against this Northwest Warriors side in the 50 over format, and from then he's become a more regular fixture.
Plenty of energy in the Munster Reds field, I have to say, as well. Plenty of encouragement from their fielders. Seems to be a very cohesive kind of unit as well. There were lambs to the slaughter down the years in the T20 format, the Munster Reds, but far, far more competitive now, and that could be out. Oh! In the end, they're going to run 2. Just over the head of Gareth Delaney on that particular occasion.
Yeah, he certainly was interested for a while there, Delaney. And yeah, they've struggled in years gone by in the T20 format, the Reds, but they've always struck me as a very cohesive unit. No matter who's been involved playing for them, take real pride in their cricket down in Munster.
Tries to catch it as well, but that's going to fall short. Oh, and a slip means it's an easy run through. Josh Manley out there, slipping on the wet outfield. Hopefully he's okay. Yeah, he's back to his feet, he's fine.
Yeah, there's just a few bare patches that have turned into a little bit muddy over the last day and a half with the amount of rain on offer, so it is a little bit slippery underfoot.
That's a nice shot, isn't it? Doheny just opens the face of the bat, rolls it down, and takes 2. They're coming in 2s now.
Yeah, it's a really lovely shot, this, from Doheny. Just a great touch. When he starts playing like this, you just know he's beginning to get into good nick. As Isabel said earlier on commentary, he's been in fantastic nick for his club side Merrion in the Leinster divisions in recent weeks.
That's in the air and that should be out. 5th wicket falls with the score on 66. I was just saying that they were building a nice platform here, and Doheny perishes for 27.
Yeah, it's a good piece of bowling. Whether it's a shot that was really required from Doheny, it's hard to know. He was just looking like he was settling at the crease, having worked so hard for his 27. But he has to depart, and again it just stunts the momentum for the Warriors. They could be in a bit of trouble here. They're now 66 for 5. Matt Ford takes his 2nd wicket again, showing just how useful he can be with his off spin. No longer really a part-time operator for this Munster Reds team. Really one of the main bowlers, and he's gotten more success and is going to bring Graham Hume to the crease.
Yeah, Graham Ford helping out the brother on that occasion with that catch at short 3rd man. And 66 for 5. They are in trouble now. The man they were really relying on, Stephen Doheny, is now gone for 27. William Porterfield, the only other batsman out there. outside of Kennedy to make double figures. McBride, McClintock gone for ducks, Getgate gone for 3. The Reds sniff blood. That's the end of the over. 13 down, 66 for 5.
Another impressive over from Matt Ford and for the Reds. And this is captaincy I really like to see from Tyrone Kane, bringing back your strike bowler. Aaron Cawley bowled so well for his 2 overs, completely set the tone at the top, caused troubles for both Doherty and Porterfield, and now he's bringing him back on to try and get a wicket. Try to get the Tipperary man in the wickets today, and as you say, John, really sniff blood here and try to cut this innings off at source, because if they get Graham Kennedy in the next couple of overs, the Warriors really are going to struggle to get anything above that 115 mark.
Former under-19 international is Aaron Cawley, now at Phoenix. 2 overs, none for 10. So he's back on now from the pavilion end. It's got a little cloudy, a little darker overhead. Hopefully the rain will hold off, although the clouds seem to be pretty high. I suppose we're looking away to get any cricket at all, since considering the amount of rain we got yesterday.
Yeah, certainly, and given how wet the outfield was this morning, a combination of yesterday's rain and just dew on the ground this morning would have made it very hard. There was certainly a time around that 11-12 o'clock where you thought we wouldn't get a ball bowled, so the fact that they're out there playing a full 20 over game as well, not reduced at all, is brilliant, and credit to all the ground staff here at North Down for getting it underway.
These two have got to stick around now, try and build something for their team. We're talking about 160 at the start of their innings. That's fallen away now. If they get around to 120, I think they'll be well pleased at this particular juncture. Hume, another South African born from Joburg. He was actually in the South African squad for the Under-19 World Cup. Kennedy makes a bit of room for himself, but no bat on ball. Another dot ball. Important, obviously, as well, from the Munster Reds' point of view. The more dot balls, the more pressure you build.
Of course, and that leads to chances being have to be taken. Kennedy, he's just looked a lot more solid when he's stood still at the crease, and he's moved around an awful lot and used his feet at times. Hasn't quite worked for him just yet.
Loud crack of the bat as this worked into the offside. Gareth Delaney. Good to see Gareth back as well, incidentally. We've had injury problems for Gareth, the vice captain, the 24-year-old, who's now back in the Munster Reds side. Good for the Munster Reds, good news for Ireland as well.
Yeah, massively great news. Brilliant to see him back on the pitch. Such a great talented all-rounder. Slightly surprised we probably haven't seen him bowl yet. It's probably been just how well Matt Ford has bowled, which has been potentially the reason why Gareth hasn't come on yet. But no doubt we'll see him with the bat in hand in the second innings, whether he's up top or maybe in that number 4 role, which he'd earmarked down in that Irish side over in the Caribbean, where he was so impressive in that T20 series.
Well, he's just suddenly lost his line and length as Josh Manley. Previous ball was a wide, and that one has gone for 5 wides. And these are very precious runs for the Warriors.
Yeah, I'd be really disappointed with this. Aaron Cawley was nowhere near the mark either. This PJ Moore is one of the best behind the stumps. He could do nothing there, and it's such a short boundary there, and with such pace on the ball, is always going to run away. Vital 5 runs for the Warriors.
And when you consider that in this innings of 76 runs now. 10 of those runs have come from 5 wides. So those 10 runs could be crucial at the end of this game.
Yeah, massively, and it doesn't look to be just that easy to bat on. So it's not probably a deck or a game that you want to let them get away and get to that 115, 120, because you suddenly could find yourself in with a sticky run chase.
That's cracked away. That should go all the way. Yes, well done. Nice shot. Square of the wicket. Not quite where he intended, but they'll take the 4 runs, and that ends the 14th over with the Warriors putting to bat on 80 for 5. And that's the end of my stint for the moment. So for the last 6 overs, we welcome back Isabel Joyce.
Yes, thank you, John. Isabel coming back to join me, and it's been tough going, really, for the Northwest Warriors throughout the majority of this 14 overs, but a little bit of momentum got there from that 5 wides, and Kennedy flaying a boundary over point, as Matt Ford's going to bowl his final over, 2 for 13 from 3. So far, very impressive. Graham Hume, the man on strike.
Little bit of flight, but well judged in the end from Hume. Got it to just go outside the 30-yard circle, so it's usually 2 if the fielders are out in the leg side, which they are.
Yeah, hard to know, Isabel, how you'd approach it as a batter in this situation. Do you try and see it through to maybe that 16, 17 over mark and then try to really go at it the last 3, or do you just try to maybe take a counter-attacking approach?
Beautiful shot, played late of point. There's good power on that, and it's a despairing dive in the deep. He won't cut that one off. A valuable 4 runs for Hume.
Yeah, really nice shot this from Hume. It was the quicker delivery from Ford, and again just cut away nicely. Tyrone Kane couldn't get down at backward point, and as are the boundaries being so short here, that ran away very quickly.
Not as much power that time, so just the one. Well, you talked about tactics, Andrew, and I think Hume has gone about it the right way. You should probably at this point be looking to try and get 2s, so miss the boundary fielders or try and get it in the leg side to the circle, and then you have the ball you're looking for your boundary. And this is probably it for Stephen Kennedy. A little bit more flight, but just couldn't get under it. Hits it down to long off, long on. The straight boundaries are so short, so if you get a little bit of air, we've only seen it really once, where Stephen Doheney, I think it was, lifted one over the bowler's head for 6. So you're waiting for that one with a little bit more flight, a little bit of pace off that you can hit over the straight boundary. And that's it there as well. Doesn't quite get all of it, but gets enough for 4. Really good placement from Graham Hume. An expensive over this one so far for the Munster Reds.
Yeah, I think this is good batting from the Northwest Warriors. It's been a hallmark of their game throughout the T20 campaign, is that they've just kept coming at you, and they're not shying away here, even though it has been hard work. Hume's come in, been aggressive, and it might just be the right option on this sort of pitch to try and go at it and try and still get up towards that 130, 140 score, which probably would be a good score on this pitch.
Yeah, definitely massively overshot the mark when I said 160 was a par score. I think that'd be an out and out winning score, and I think you're right, 140 would be very difficult to chase down. If they can get to 120 and then just try and push it a little bit more, then they might find that they're in a good position, the Northwest Warriors. That's 15 gone, and Warriors are 92 for 5.
Yeah, they should be getting to 120 from here, really. Just 28 runs required in the final 5 overs, and they'd like to think, even though they're 5 wickets down, you'd score maybe something in and around that 40 mark in the last 5, which would bring them up just above 130. Fionn Hand returns for his final over, 1 for 14. Very impressive yet again.
Not that time though. Loose delivery and another 5 wides. 4 leg byes being signalled by umpire Alan Neal. But it really was a loose delivery.
Yeah, I was with you there, Isabel. From our vantage point there, I thought that had gone down for 5 wides again, but just tickling the pad of Kennedy on the way through. Another 4, and they're such cheap runs to give away. From the Munster Reds' perspective, they'll be disappointed.
Good field placement there. That one is only a single. It's a good phrase, cheap runs. Haven't heard it before, Andrew, but it describes it perfectly. The Northwest Warriors not having to do anything at all really to score those runs on the 5 wides that we saw in Aaron Cawley's previous over. What Munster have to do is try and force Northwest Warriors to take risks to score their runs, and they might take wickets that way.
Yeah, Hume looks a little bit disappointed there that he didn't get bat on ball. It's probably where he wanted it to be. They scrambled through for a leg by, but it's been good from these two.
Yeah, he just shuffled across his crease, Graham Hume, trying to open up the area between deep square leg and fine leg. There's a huge area there, so I think he was trying to just flick it backward of square. Excellent length from Fionn Hand there. Just hitting the top of the stumps if Kennedy had missed that. Difficult to get that kind of length away.
Yeah, he's a lovely batter to watch, Kennedy, when he's in the groove. Such a quality timer of a cricket ball. But seems to slightly lose his shape when he goes for those bigger shots. I alluded to it when he was trying to play these really aggressive cut shots off hand previously, then in those last 2 deliveries as well. Doesn't look like it potentially comes too naturally.
He's a classical batsman, isn't he? He's 50 over kind of batsman, accumulator of runs, and it can be a difficult one if that's the type of batsman you are, to just hit boundaries at will. It's not something he probably practices as much with his batting as he does with his stroke play for 50 over cricket. What you need to do is just hold the front half a little bit longer, Graham Kennedy, and that one will be going over the rope. 16 overs gone. Northwest Warriors 98 for 5.
Yeah, another very good over from Fionn Hand. Completes his 4 overs. Very impressive. Having a look at those bowling figures, Fionn Hand finishing up 1 for 15 from his 4. You'd take that any day of the week as a bowler in T20 cricket. 4 overs to go. You'd have to assume we won't see a 6th bowler at this stage. Mike Frost is going to come back into the attack to bowl his final over. I don't know how much you've seen of Mike Frost, Isabel, but certainly from what I've seen, he's been very impressive.
Just too much length for Graham Hume. Lifts it over. Beautiful shot. Great shapes from him. Another maximum.
Yeah, seriously good batting this from Graham Hume. Wasn't even much above the eye line here. It was really quite flat, and Hume's just clubbed it away, and this innings has completely changed the shape of this match. 19 off 10.
Good comeback from Frost. Just changes the length a little bit. Yeah, Graham Hume has done a great job for his team, but Mike Frost is massively impressive. Just seems to have great control for such a young man. Reads batsmen very well as well. By and large, can figure out what length he should be bowling to the different batsmen. That one that was a bit too full for Hume. One of the only blots on his jotter. Dances down and just punches it. I mean, even more impressive is a left-arm spinner bowling to 2 left-handed batters and not getting too much tap.
Yeah, good changes of pace and variation. Kennedy doing the right thing there, getting Hume back on strike.
There's that flight, but he's hit it high in the air. There's a chance, and it's put down in the deep. Jack Carty it was. It seemed to hang up there for an age. Big chance, and how costly would this be?
Yeah, that was almost on the wide line on the offside. Hume trying to muscle it away, leg side, got nowhere near the middle of the bat. And Jack Carty made good ground, made all the ground he required. But the chance goes down.
It looked like he was trying to take a mark, didn't he, in AFL, the Australian. So chancing that over, but it went down 10 runs from it. It's 17 overs gone, and Northwest Warriors are 108 for 5.
Yeah, it could be very important that, because if the Warriors are to get up to a score of 140 or so, you'd have to think Graham Hume's going to have to be at the crease.
There's a big discussion going on now. The Munster Brains Trust, who's going to bowl the next over, or maybe it's about the field placement. I'm not sure, but PJ Moore giving his 2 cents, and it's going to be a return for Josh Manley. He's got 2 overs left, and so he'll probably bowl out this end.
Yeah, certainly plenty of discussions taking place there. Nearly everyone on the team having their 2 cents at one stage, congregating at the bowler's end.
Well, it's not going to be easy to chase on this ground. They know that every run saved is huge for them now. It's a really big partnership, this, between the two Grahams, Hume and Kennedy.
I think the Reds, though, can learn from the way Graham Hume has approached this innings, just targeting certain boundaries. He's quite clearly targeting that straight boundary to the far end, the Mount Alexander end.
I think he's just chosen the right deliveries as well. That's the key for me. You don't force the issue. If it's not there to hit down the ground, you don't try and get it there. He's got a plan, it seems, for every type of delivery. Probably bar that wide full one that we just saw him almost get out to, of the bowling of Frost. Really the opposite is Graham Kennedy. He seems to have a very specific shot in mind before each ball, and follows through with it regardless of the delivery he receives.
Yeah, well, he's getting tempted by the fact that the two fielders straight at mid-on and mid-off are in the ring. So he's trying to, I think, skip down the pitch and try to find that delivery that's therefore in the slot. But I think just at this stage of the innings, Kennedy, with the way he's batting, just trying to get Graham Hume on strike has to be the number one priority.
Well, there's a change in field for Hume. Long off, long on, go back. Third man, fine leg, inside the ring. But you're right, he should be, rather than dancing down and trying to score the boundaries himself, he should be focusing on just staying still. Make sure that he gets the ones. What he can't afford is to face any dots, any more dots, Graham Kennedy. Because when he's gone for the big shot, as you alluded to, he sometimes loses his shape and doesn't make contact at all. Oh, that's a beauty. Stayed still, picked his gap, was too full from Manley, over the head of mid-off. That's 4 runs to Kennedy.
Yeah, a really good shot from Graham Kennedy, and it's been a good little innings he's putting together now, moving on to 25. This time he stood more still. He got the length that he's been really craving, though. Josh Manley missing his Yorker length on this occasion, and with mid-on and mid-off in the ring, you just can't afford to bowl in that slot length. Kennedy punishes it away for a boundary.
Slower ball, hacked leg side, good fielding in the deep and good return. It's just that previous delivery, it's just poor bowling, isn't it? He's set the field for short of length or short. There you go, the change up.
Yeah, he was disappointed with it. Manley, you could hear the yelp from him after the delivery was bowled. He's usually very good at executing.
Picked up behind square, despairing dive in the deep. So after a couple of good deliveries early on, He's now gone for 2 boundaries, and there's still a ball left in the over.
Yeah, these two are completely changing this game for the Northwest Warriors. It's been a really good partnership between Hume and Kennedy. Graham Hume has added brilliant impetus to this innings, 27 off just 16 deliveries, showing off that the pitch is as we've come accustomed to here in Comber, another good one. Anything loose, he's punished, and it's been a real classy innings from the number 7.
And that one's massive. Launched. High and handsome. That's over the trees. 6 more for Hume.
Yeah, the cars on the adjoining road might be in danger after that one. A brilliant shot from Graham Hume. He picked a slower delivery, and he's absolutely smashed that one in the slot, and it's gone many a mile. 17 off that over. The Northwest Warriors 125 for 5 with just 2 overs remaining, and Graham Hume's 33 not out. Completely game changing.
Brilliant stuff from these two coming in at number 6 and 7. Well, we were hoping they'd get to 120. It's looking like they're going to get to that 140 at least, if not further. I'm sure they're eyeing that up. And there's a big problem now for Tyrone Kane in that Josh Manley is one of the people with an over left. So does he bowl that final over, or is he going to have to bring on a 6th bowler?
Yeah, I think you have to keep trying to back your premier seam bowlers. Josh Manley's been probably the best seamer the Reds have had all year in both formats of the game, so I assume they'll stick with him. Just not sure. Seems to be again there was a big chat between plenty of fielders and the bowler himself, PJ Moore. But yet at the same time, with Josh Manley's over, there didn't seem to actually be a clear-cut plan after all the discussions.
That was the problem, I think. Well, the field was set for Kennedy. Was mid-off and mid-on were up, and then he attempted the Yorker, which is, if you get wrong, you're getting hit back over your head. If you got mid-off and mid-on up as a quick bowler, you have to be bowling short or short-ish. It's going to be another split field. Mid-off is up, mid-on or long-on is back. 2 fielders in the deep in the leg side. A 3rd man and cover. Again dances down again and catches only half the bat. This is Aaron Cawley bowling his final over, the penultimate one in this innings.
Yeah, well, Graham Hume will be eyeing up that short straight boundary, I'm sure. Aaron Cawley, you'd have to think, has to go back of a length here or into the pitch. Anything floaty, Hume is going to try and crunch over his head.
There's a problem at the moment in that there are 6 fielders outside the ring, but Cawley made sure he counted his fielders. He's bringing 3rd man up inside the ring as mid-off goes to long-off. He can't afford to err in his length. Just slices that one over cover. That's good bowling from Cawley. But poor fielding. Disappointing for the bowler. He did so well. And then an overthrow.
Yeah, well, he went full, which I didn't think he was going to, but he actually nailed his Yorker pretty well there. Hume couldn't get underneath it, but just a little bit of sloppy fielding. That happens when you're under pressure as a fielding side. Things get a little bit more ragged.
Well, I know that's a wide, but I like the plan here from Cawley. He's got keeping the ball away from Graham Hume. The only issue for me is he's got 3rd man up inside the ring. If you're going to bowl wide outside off, why do you need deep square leg? You should be going differing lengths, but wide outside off. I think that's the best option against Hume. Likes it at him and can hit well straight if the ball's up to him. And down. They're going to come back for a 2nd. That's poor fielding in the deep. Mike Frost puts that one down. They always say settle yourself under a high catch. He was still moving when the ball came down. I think that was the problem for Frost.
Yeah, again, just a sense of raggedness with the Munster Reds. They've really been set aback so good in that first 10 overs. The last 4 or 5 overs, Hume has dismantled them.
Full toss, catches it high in the bat. A second chance for Frost and a second dropped catch. It signalled a no ball, so it wouldn't have been out anyway, but it does cost an extra run. Possibly straight into the sun there.
Yeah, but Cawley's slightly losing it here. There was the previous delivery, which was actually very close to being a free hit. I suspect no ball. This one was called, and it's a free hit now for Graham Hume, who's 39 off 20. And suddenly the Warriors are looking at a score potentially in excess of 150, which you certainly wouldn't have thought of even 3 or 4 overs ago.
That's huge. Launched over the fence. They're going to have to bring out another new ball. 6 more for Hume.
Yeah, Phil Thompson, the match referee, is going to have to come back on, because that has gone many a mile. And we saw when we were up here in Comber earlier this year, Paul Sterling do something similar to this, where he was threatening the windows of those adjoining houses. Graham Hume having his say as well. An enormous dig, and it brings North West Warriors up to that 140 mark, and you can just tell at the moment with the Munster Reds, there's puzzled looks on their faces out there. They don't know what's hit them.
Well, Tyrone Kane won the toss and elected to bowl, and it looked like a really good choice for the first 11 or 12 overs of this bowling innings for them. But then to the crease came Graham Hume, and he just looks like he's batting on a different pitch.
Yeah, well, you won't have seen it off your camera there, but Graham Hume has gone and changed his bat. Now, to be honest, if I ever hit a 6 that long, the last thing I'd be doing is changing my bat.
Well, perhaps if you hit a 6 that long, you'd know that maybe that bit breaks a bat. Andrew.
Still would have been sticking with my trusted piece of willow, but Hume going for the new bat now.
Pressure really on Aaron Cawley here. Good comeback from him, just the single. One delivery left in the over.
Really a bit of a free hit, I'd have thought, for Graham Kennedy here. I think you'd want Hume to be facing during that final over against potentially Josh Manley, who's gone for runs, and therefore you want to keep this to even numbers.
Well, Tyrone Kane is obviously usually a bowler for the Munster Reds. He's coming back from injury but not yet bowling. So a big loss for them. It would have been useful to have him as he wouldn't have been the 6th bowling option, of course, but it can be the problem when you only have 5. Nicely placed from Kennedy. You'd have to think they're going to leave Hume on strike. So yeah, a single to end the penultimate over. 19 overs gone, and North West Warriors motoring. They're 142 for 5.
Yeah, it just goes to show, at this ground, you've got to be on the money all the time as a bowler. You just stray a little bit in length, a little bit in line, suddenly balls are disappearing all over the park.
Well, those shots straight that Hume played just put a bit of doubt into the Munster Reds bowlers. They've then bowled 2 short and gone the distance square, and that's really good, simple plans from Hume. Forced them to bowl in an area that he wanted them to bowl. He wanted the short ball, and because he hit so well straight, he's got it. So it is going to be Josh Manley to close out this North West Warriors innings. More discussions between skipper Tyrone Kane and Manley as he tries to figure out the best way to go about this.
After the last couple of overs, it's very hard to know what you'd say in that situation there. All plans have been put out the window, really.
usually try and bowl at half the ground. It's just which half that he's going to bowl to. Fine leg comes up inside the ring. Long on and long off are out as his cover. Third man and then deep mid wicket. So you can expect him to bowl this outside off stump. Probably look to go full and outside off. That's good bowling. Good bowling to his plan. I think it'll be the same plan for Hume. And the boundary option really is trying to miss point and hit the ball well.
Yeah, it's well executed, but the proof in the pudding will be how can he execute against Graham Hume. You see it so often in a bowler's psychology with the batter that's potentially not hitting you out of the park. You can nail your skills very easily. It's much harder with a man that's in such good form like Hume is.
The full toss, it's down towards Tyrone Kane, who takes the catch. He's claiming it, he's walking in, he says it's out. They might want to have another look at this.
Yeah, trying to have a look there on our replay there. It was athletic work from Kane. There's now going to be a few discussions.
Well, the question being asked by Northwest Warriors coach Gary Wilson is, do you not have to touch back in before you catch the catch? And the answer is no. He was on his way back in. He didn't touch the ball at any point while his foot was outside the boundary rope. And that means it is a fair catch. There's some communication with the umpire on the sideline. That's Phil Thompson. Tyrone Kane certainly thinks that the catch stands, and the Munster Reds are celebrating, if what, somewhat mutely.
Yeah, I think everyone's at a loss at this moment in time. It's a good piece of work from Kane.
Yeah, so he took the catch, was leaning back, threw the ball up in the air, stood outside the rope, then on the way he jumped in the air, and on the way back inside the rope took the catch. I think the rule changed recently so that is actually out. It used to be you had to touch the ground inside before you then caught the ball, but that's no longer the case as far as I'm aware. So umpire Alan Neal now having a discussion with the Munster captain and Graham Hume. So obviously I'm wrong, and they've decided that the 6 stands. So 6 runs for Hume, and that's his 50. .52 from 23 deliveries. What a knock!
Yeah, seriously, good knock from Graham Hume. On to 52, and Josh Manley can feel a little bit aggrieved there.
It was a poor delivery, though, if truth be told. Full knee-high, full toss, deserved the treatment. Another full toss, and he's out this time. He's got his man. Gareth Delaney holds on to another one. Hume goes for 52.
Yeah, really good knock from Graham Hume, but it's going to come to an end. Trying to flay this away. Better execution on this time. I know it's a full toss from Josh Manley, but those low full tosses can often be quite difficult to get away. But Graham Hume, there's no getting away from how good an innings that was. 52 off 24. 4 big sixes in there as well. He's really put a lot of emphasis and impetus into this Northwest Warriors innings.
Yeah, incredibly good innings from Hume. That can't be overstated. A low full toss. He was trying to get under it. He was trying to send the ball over the rope again, but those are the most difficult probably to hit for 6. There's a good ball from Manley. If you're going to miss a Yorker, better off miss it full than short. So the new batsman in, Wilson. Jared Wilson comes in at number 8 with 3 balls left. He won't be on strike. Graham Kennedy must have been backing up a lot to have crossed with Graham Hume.
Yeah, good game awareness though to make sure that they did cross. Obviously Kennedy now the in batsman. Jared Wilson. So Been playing his cricket for Ardmore. We'll see him later on this afternoon with his medium fast. It's just going to be one there. Well bowled from Manley, and Kennedy again. Just not quite getting all of it. Down towards long on. It does bring up that 150 for the Northwest Warriors though, and even psychologically that's such a massive thing for them to have gotten to.
43 for 4 after 10. The Northwest Warriors were not most of their big players, their known batsmen back in the hutch. And then Graham Hume came to the crease and my goodness, he's really entertained. So 2 balls for Jared Wilson to try and make a mark on this batting innings. Just try and take a bit more momentum into the second half. Momentum is so important in cricket and sport in general. Really good bowling from Manley. Hopeful appeal, I think, it would have to be said.
Yep. It's quite clearly hit the ground there, Jared Wilson. But it's good delivery though, and a dot ball feels like a win for them at this stage. It's been a bit of a bruising couple of overs for the Munster Reds, but these are experiences these players have to experience and deal with and try to combat.
Yeah, really good mental strength from Graham Kennedy and Graham Hume. It's not been easy for Kennedy. He's done well to stick at it. Gets off strike Jared Wilson, and that means Kennedy will face the final. In fact, that was the final delivery. So that's the full 20 overs gone. Northwest Warriors have made 151 for 6.
Yeah, good final over in the end there from Josh Manley. Having a look at that scorecard, we're led to believe it is 151 that the Northwest Warriors have made, and thanks mainly to Graham Hume's innings there, 52 from 24. Graham Kennedy played a very good second fiddle role there, really, batting at a run of ball for his 29, and Stephen Dodney also in some sort of runs with 27, but those 24 extras, will that come to bite the Munster Reds in the second innings?
That could be huge. Those extras are just criminal. There's the partnerships, the main one there, Kennedy and Hume, 83, really valuable partnership for them.
Yeah, looking at those bowling figures, it's taken a bit of a beating. Josh Manley and Aaron Cawley near the end there, going for 37 and 40 respectively, but some really good efforts as well, especially from Fionn Han, 1 for 15 from his 4. 2 wickets again for Matt Ford, 2 for 25, and Mike Frost impressing again with his left arm spin, 1 for 25 for himself.
So that's the story so far. The first innings is done. Graham Hume came in and made 52. Kennedy was not out at the end, 29 from 31 for him. And wickets for Ford, Manley, Hand and Frost.
Yeah, so the Northwest Warriors finishing on 151 for 6, we're led to believe. We'll get that checked out during the interval as the Northwest Warriors now come out onto the field to play for a few run-throughs. They've got a chance of winning the T20 IP T20 series here by defending this total against the Munster Reds. But for now, we're going to take a break. Join us back in around 10 minutes' time for the reply of what should be a really intriguing second innings.
And you're very welcome back to the Green in Comber. I'm John Kenny, Isabel Joyce and Andrew Blair White bringing you commentary on this IP20 game where the Northwest Warriors have posted a very good score of 151 for 6 from their 20 overs, having lost the toss and been asked to bat today. They were in real trouble at 66 for 5, but a stand for the 6th wicket between Graham Kennedy, who made 30, and Graham Hume, who made 52 from 24, has put the Northwest Warriors in a very good position here to not only win this game, but if they do win it, they will be crowned the IP20 champions for 2021. So a big 20 overs to come here for the Munster Reds and indeed the rest of the teams involved in this IP20 series. 152 needed for victory. The Northwest Warriors getting to 151 for 6, but 24 extras in the Northwest Warriors total. And that may come back to haunt the Munster Reds. Opening the batting for them, good to see him back as well. Gareth Delaney, the vice-captain, Irish international, wearing 64 after a long injury break. And he's been joined out there by the Zimbabwean 31-year-old wicketkeeper PJ Moore. And opening the bowling is Graham Hume, the man of the moment. Wonderful 52 from him. Now opening the bowling from the pavilion end, with the Munster Reds now in search of 152 for victory. So Moore immediately off the mark, and good afternoon again to Isabel Joyce. Well, certainly the last 6 overs of the Northwest Warriors innings full of incident.
Well, it was pretty tough going for them for the first, you'd have to say, 2/3 of the innings. But Graham Hume certainly put on a show for the gathered faithful here and for all of you watching on this stream.
Well, that's tries to catch it. Oh, it's going to fall short. There's plenty of incident out there. Shen Getgate, sweeper on the mid-wicket boundary, just couldn't quite get there. Munster Reds in the field, not great at times. Put down a few catches. This one just falls short, down the leg side, whipped away. Getgate just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, he misjudged it. I think he probably didn't expect it to carry. It was only really a clip off the legs from Gareth Delaney. But that's a very good bat he's got in his hands. Travelled at serious speed. Really good comeback from Hume there.
Former Leinster Lightning player Gareth Delaney, very much involved in the Irish setup. Didn't get to bowl in the Munster bowling attack, just the 5 bowlers used. Brother of Laura, Irish women's captain.
Missed out there. Gareth Delaney down the leg side. So he'll be disappointed he missed out on that one.
So what do Munster have to do here now? And obviously you'll say they have to pass 151 for victory, but how do they build this innings?
Well, they don't need to panic. 151, it's not the easiest wicket to get in on, but if one batsman gets going, then you could see from the way that Graham Hume batted that they can take the game away from you, and Gareth Delaney is one such batsman. Hits a big ball, and he's hit that one far enough for a boundary, the first one of the day.
He really has an unusual style, Gareth Delaney. His hands right down the shaft of the bat. You can see it here, right down the shaft of the bat, and it's an unusual way he just punches that into the leg side. Very effective, and no chance for Getgate down there.
He's extremely hard to set a field to, Gareth Delaney. They always say that he hits in odd areas, so he tends to look for boundaries where you wouldn't put a boundary fielder.
Oh, that's in the air.
Thick edging over the third man. That's an incredible shot. First maximum for the Munster Reds.
He did not intend that to go there. That'll end the over, and it's a very profitable one from the Reds' point of view. Like I said, He was intended to try to whip that into the leg side, but he got a massive big thick edge up and over Graham McClintock's head. He could do nothing about that as it clattered into the fence at the far end. Very short boundary down there, and 13 for the first wicket at the end of 113 without loss. And you can comparison that indeed to the Warriors innings, because they were 13 without loss at the end of the first over. Sorry, 11 without loss, so not much in it, but a good start. And Delaney immediately onto 12.
It's going to be Conor Alford coming on from the Mount Alexander end. An exciting prospect. Bowls with good pace. They'll get good bounce. I think what they have to try and do against Gareth Delaney is bowl at him. You don't want to give him room to free his hands. Usually if you can get it going just past his chest, you're on the money, but it's going to be PJ Moore to face first.
Good stop. Cuts off the route to a boundary. Yeah, Alford, the 24-year-old from Breedy. Actually just made his interprovincial debut for the Warriors in September against the Lightning, taking 2 wickets, uncapped at international level, but his father Mark made an appearance for Ireland back in 1998 against a touring Australian A side. Just on the fringes of the Irish setup, Alford.
Just love to watch Gareth Delaney bat. He just swings at everything, doesn't he? And the thing is, they've got a fielder on the cover boundary and one on the square leg boundary, so it means that the third man and fine leg are up inside the ring. So if he does swing at it and he gets anything on it, it's going to be a boundary. So dangerous times for the Northwest Warriors. Slip in place.
That's high in the air. Wicketkeeper running underneath it should take this, and dropped again. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
You do not want to drop Gareth Delaney. It's Stephen Doheney. He had a bit of grind to make up, and I think he just didn't quite get there. It took him a minute to see that it was his catch as well, because there's no mid-wicket.
Yeah, you're right. Didn't quite get there, never set himself, and had to dive forward, and as a result of that, couldn't take the catch. The catching out there, Munster Reds dropped a couple of ones you would expect at this level that should have been caught, and we did have the effort from Tyrone Kane, where we talked to the umpire afterwards about that particular catch, saying there was a lot of uncertainty, not only in their minds, the umpires, but also in the fielders' minds. So in the end, they had to give the benefit of the doubt to the batsman, and 6 runs were accrued by the Warriors.
Yeah, let's just clear that one up, which is that the catch was taken inside the rope, but he was toppling over and outside the boundary. Tyrone Kane threw the ball up, and he jumped in the air to take the catch and then landed inside the boundary. So if he had completed that all perfectly, then it should have been out, but he wasn't sure that. He wasn't 100% sure what had happened, so I think he just wasn't sure had he left the ground in time when he actually took the final catch. You said you thought maybe his foot was on the rope, so there was enough doubt there, and I think the right decision was made. And of course, Hume was out the next ball, so not too much damage done.
Yeah. It was the shot that took Hume past his half century as well, and that's out. Backward point takes a nice, easy catch. Ross Allen, safe pair of hands there. First wicket falls in only the second over, and it's PJ Moore who perishes for 2, and a good start by the Warriors here.
Well, this was travelling. It did go straight to him, but these ones are never easy. A good catch from Ross Allen, and good bowling, really good bowling from Conor Alford. PJ Moore goes 2 from 4 balls.
Murray Commons is the new batsman with the departure of PJ Moore. Commons wearing 23, left-handed batsman, 24 years of age, from South Africa. Missed last season, back though again this year.
Really exciting talent. Murray Commons thought of very highly around the traps. He's going to be at the non-strikers end because that was the last ball of the second over. Just the 2 runs from it. And we're going to see Hume continue, though. He was a little bit unlucky, wasn't he, to concede that many runs in this first over. Thick outside edge going over third man for 6. You don't see that often.
Immediately off the hips from Delaney, and moves on to 14 from just 8 deliveries with that fortunate 6 that Isabel was alluding to. Nice evening here. It's a little chill in the air, a little autumnal evening, but not too bad for the middle of September to be still playing into provincial cricket. Big build-up then to the World Cup, the T20 World Cup next year. Ireland lumped in with Namibia, Netherlands and Sri Lanka, looking to finish in the top 2 on that to qualify for the competition proper. And they're heading off this coming Friday as part of the build-up. It's going to be a busy winter as well for the Irish men's team. They're talking about perhaps playing the United States in Fort Lauderdale at the end of December before a 6-game series, 3 T20s and 3 50-over games, World Cup qualifiers against the West Indies. There was talk about perhaps playing in the 3 islands. Now, with COVID regulations, it might just be reduced to the 1 for that series against the West Indies, but that's all to be confirmed at this stage. But that's a big series for Ireland, obviously. But it would be there would be official one-day internationals, of course, against the United States, who've now got ODI status.
Yeah, it'd be really exciting for Ireland to go over and play the United States. I think it's always important to try and play teams you haven't played before. It makes you have to learn a little bit more on your feet out in the middle. These teams that we're watching here have played each other so much. That element of surprise is no longer there. Short and played straight to the man
catch.
in the deep.
What a catch. That was absolutely travelling. And Graham Kennedy takes that as easy as you like. It was absolutely flying off the bat. Straight trajectory, and what a take.
He could not have picked him out better. Murray Commons didn't even try and hit it, just helped the ball on its way. The problem was he didn't try and go up and he didn't try and go down. He just went straight, and the fielder was there ready. Graham Kennedy, he's having a good day so far, and we're yet to see him with the ball. Murray Commons goes for a duck. So it's Matt Ford is the new man out in the middle. A really exciting batsman to watch. Extremely strong. Has quite a strange setup. Kind of hunches his shoulders up. But when he unleashes, that ball goes.
I know you'll say straight down the throat of Kennedy, and he was in a very good position. But we've seen some of the easier catches not taken today. But that was an extraordinary catch. It was hit flat and hard and straight at him, and he just plucked it out of the air nonchalantly. It's down the leg side. It's going to be a wide. A lot resting on Gareth Delaney's shoulders now, even at this early stage.
He's trying to get some game time under his belt as well before he heads away. As they have a very strong batting lineup, the Munster Reds. Any number of them could, you could really change around the batting order if you wanted. Still Tyrone Kane to come in. The likes of Greg Ford, Fionn Hand, Jack Carty.
We can see how this format of the game can turn quite quickly. Northwest Warriors were in trouble. 66 for 5. Stephen Doheney was the last man out before. Graham Kennedy and Graham Hume came together, and an 83-run partnership took them to 149, eventually 151 in those last few overs. Hume took a delight to the Munster Reds bowling attack. Brilliant 52 from 24 deliveries, ably backed up with a 30 from Kennedy. And he's obviously now played his part in the field with that terrific catch to get rid of PJ Moore.
Well, he didn't have time to think about it, did he? That's sometimes the beauty of those kinds of catches. 3 overs gone. Munster Reds in a spot of bother, 19 for 2.
Well, there's the comparison. All still pretty tight, but you can see where the real damage was done from around the 14th, 15th over onwards to the conclusion. It's Kennedy and Hume in combo.
Yeah, quite a steep line that, wasn't it, after the 14th?
Just to reiterate once again, the Northwest Warriors, if they win today, they will be the IP20 champions. They've got 20 points from their 7 games played. Yesterday's match against the Northern Knights was washed out, sadly. So that was a no result. So they got 2 points to move them on to 20. Leinster Lightning have had 2 games postponed. They picked up 4 points to move them on to 18. So they have 8 games down and 2 no results, gives them 18 points. 16 for the Northern Knights and 10 for the Munster Reds. The equation is, if the Northwest Warriors win today, they are the champions. If the Reds manage to get over the line here, we're down to a shootout tomorrow between the Leinster Lightning and the Northwest Warriors. Tomorrow morning's match is the Knights against the Munster Reds. The big game would be Leinster Lightning against the Northwest Warriors, but the Reds have to win to keep this series alive.
Yeah, change of bowling now from the Mount Alexander end. Ryan Macbeth into the attack. Beautiful shot from Gareth Delaney. He plays that in front of extra cover. That's 4 all the way from the bat.
I'm just really intrigued by his batting style. It's the way he gets up on the toes and just punches it down the ground like that. Up, bang. Nice shot. No chance for the fielder down there. It's a very short boundary as well, and it trundles over the ropes, but it's just a very, very unusual style, Delaney. It's effective, obviously. 19 from 11 so far, and it's good to see him back. Injury problems this year. Lorcan Tucker, another one who had injury problems. Ireland can't afford to lose the quality of these players, but it's good to see them back. And particularly Delaney opening the bat now for Reds, and as you said, a chance for him to get some runs on the board and to get the feel as he heads off to the World Cup on Friday.
Big nick, but keeper up to the stump, Stephen Doheny, so not able to collect that one. Quite a slingy action, Ryan Macbeth. It just means sometimes it can skid on, sometimes it can stick in the pitch and just pop a little bit. Stephen Doheny just giving a little bit of a sigh there. He's gone back again, decided not to stay up to the stumps. Really good hands from Matt Ford. That's just beautifully eased through the covers. Classical batting still has its place in T20 cricket. His first boundary today.
Lovely shot that. Just leant into it all the way along the ground, and despite the damp outfield, trundled all the way past Gate to the ropes, and 4 welcome runs for them. And Ford moves on to 5.
It's a change in the field now. Cover goes out. It's also square leg. Good comeback. Much better. Much better from Ryan Macbeth. Decent length and just pushing it onto the hips of Ford.
Really, it's a lovely evening here at the Green. There's a few spectators scattered around the ground. A few of them in front of the pavilion, enjoying the evening sunshine of the September evening of this IP20 Festival of Cricket. Sadly, this is the only game we've seen so far, with the first 3 games all abandoned because of the weather and the outfield. It's just going to fall short. Slightly fortuitous. That's the end of the over. 4 down, 28 for 2. Well, ahead of the World Cup, the T20 World Cup, Ireland having a 3-2 victory over Zimbabwe in the T20 series. There's some of the spectators you can see by the pavilion. Some sitting behind us. Saw Paul Sterling, not involved in the match today, sitting watching this game as well. Good to see players of that ilk staying on to watch fellow Interpro players here.
It's a change of ends now for Conor Alford. Didn't fancy it down the Mount Alexander end, so he's going to come from the pavilion end now.
Yeah, I was mentioning about the Zimbabwe series where Ireland won 3-2. It's nicely poised as well in the Scotland Zimbabwe series as well as 1-1. HBV Studios are bringing that game, the final game, tomorrow from the Grange.
And a massive edge again from Gareth Delaney. One bounce this time over the rope, living dangerously, but effective.
He certainly does like to swing at them, doesn't he? Big swing, big thick outside edge, and shortness of the boundary. That was never going to be cut off. And they'll take that. And Delaney has gone to 23 now from just 13 deliveries.
Yeah, it's not a huge amount of technique to that one. Just clear the front leg and swing the arms and hope for the best. A hack into the leg side.
Should be 2.
It's nothing more frustrating for a bowler than to bowl to a man like Gareth Delaney. Just swings and seems to get a lot of luck.
Ross Allen acting as a fielder, as a sweeper on that mid-wicket boundary. Got a good arm, and we saw a while ago. Good pair of hands too. Getting rid of PJ Moore, a shot that was hit pretty hard at him. 2 very good catches in the field so far indeed from the Warriors.
Just seems to have played the same shot three balls in a row there. Gareth Delaney to 3 very different deliveries.
It's in the air. Is there a fielder underneath it? They're running backwards towards it. Don't think they're going to get there though. That's the captain, McBrien. Nothing he could do about that. Again, Delaney, fortuitous, picks up a couple, but he's out there swinging.
This is the most extraordinary innings from Gareth Delaney. It's just how hard he swings. He tends to send the ball from those edges over the fielders. There was that drop catch from Stephen Doheney. The wicketkeeper just didn't cop to it quickly enough. It didn't sound good off the bat. I think that he might have to change that one up.
Well, the spectators that are here, and it's free admission today, if you're in around the area, pop in. Nice evening. Still just over 15 overs to go, and this Munster Reds reply chasing, remember, 152 for victory. Full toss, and Delaney could only just prod it in front of him. Dot ball ends at the 5th over with the Reds on now 36 for 2.
Well, at the same stage, the Warriors were 27 for 1, so no need to panic for the Reds. Obviously, they've lost 1 more wicket, but not a huge difference between the teams. I think if they can keep the scoring rate at what it is now, up until 10, they'll be well ahead of where the Warriors were. They were 43 for 4 after 10, which...
Well, there's 2 elements, really, wasn't there, to the Warriors' innings. They rocked up 24 extras, plus there was a couple of badly dropped catches as well in the innings. Nice shot. That's going to go all the way to the boundary. Down towards Cow Corner. Over she trundles. And 4 more to the total.
In the last Ryan Macbeth over, we saw the finesse of Matt Forde. That's the power. And just shuffles to the offside and hits it in between mid-on and mid-wicket over their heads. That's a really good option from him. As soon as he gets any length, any length up to him, he's going to try and send it back over the bowler's head to that short straight boundary.
Tries to catch it. Up and over the infield, though. There's a sweeper down there. Shane Getgate. I think Mr. Forde has been watching Owen Morgan videos. That's that kind of crouch style as well he has. I know it's left-hander, kind of right-hander thing, but it's the same kind of style, really, isn't it? So two very contrasting kind of batsmen out there as well, and Delaney, who's pretty unorthodox, and Forde as well. What's the line you use? He hits a big ball.
And there it is, the big one down the ground. Held his shape, didn't get all of it, but it's going to be 4 more for Gareth Delaney. Just 2 full from Ryan Macbeth. You can't err in your length at all to Gareth Delaney.
Yeah, plenty of room down there in the evening sunshine.
You're completely right, John. 2 such differing batsmen. Gareth Delaney very tall in his stance, and Matt Forde crouching, as you alluded to. That's much better for Macbeth. Good comeback. That's a good line as well, just in at the pads of Delaney. Don't give him room to free his arms. Yeah, Matt Forde, he does crouch down, and he also, I think he gets himself a little bit into trouble with the amount he moves around. Just overthinks things a little bit. So good when he just stands still. And we saw he's got the touch and he's got good power, so no need to be overthinking things. A slower ball and flayed away through the offside. Don't bowl there.
That's a lovely shot. Stand and deliver. Thank you and good night. What a shot from Delaney.
Well, the way he played that was with pure disdain. Just said, you can't bowl that to me. Go back and try again. It's been an expensive over so far. 13 already from it and 1 ball to come from Ryan Macbeth. And again, good comeback.
Yeah, that'll take him to 50 at the end of 6 overs. 50 for 2 at the end of 6. Delaney on 36, Forde on 10. Expensive over, as you said there. Gone for 14, and they're above the required run rate now. 50 for 2 at the end of 6 overs. That's a good over from the Reds' point of view. Delaney and Forde looking good out there. Delaney, as we've been saying, very unorthodox in the way he attacks the fielders, but I suppose in this kind of cricket, you've got to get the runs quickly. Attack could be the best form of defence, and Delaney will say, well, look, I know I've been a bit streaky at times, but he's hit some really good shots as well, and we're going to have a change of bowling. Looks like the captain's coming on, Andy McBride, the man they call Scrah, the Irish international, bowled extremely well in the Zimbabwe series for Ireland. He's coming on now from the pavilion end.
No surprise to see Captain Andy McBride bring himself on. Spin's been effective. We saw that in the first innings. He's probably their best bowler, certainly one of Ireland's best player of the match in that final Zimbabwe game, and he's a man for the big occasion. Fielders out on the leg side, deep square leg, deep mid-wicket, long on, long off, and cover. Gareth Delaney goes big straight away, calls a catcher, but that one's going to sail over the rope. 6 more.
Well, that's hello, Andy McBride, says Delaney. Hits him straight back over his head. Beautiful shot. No need to run. That was 6 from the moment it left the bat.
The worry for Andy McBride is that is nowhere near all of it that Gareth Delaney got there. He actually, I think he thought he was in trouble for a minute. So if he does get all of it, it could be a few more new balls required. Really good comeback from Andy McBride. Pulls his length back and pushes Delaney onto the back foot.
It's blink and you miss it. Andy McBride, he gets to his overs very quickly. As soon as he gets the ball in the hand, determined to turn and bowl. But Delaney just stepped away for a second just to ensure that McBride wasn't getting through them quick enough. And that's another one in the air. There's a fielder underneath it, but they won't reach that, I don't think. No, it's going to split the two of them. 6 off the first ball, 4 off that. Delaney is laying siege.
Yeah, slapped away into the leg side, manages to get it between the fielders in the deep. Good placement. And another 4 runs for Delaney. He's motoring.
Well, that's where the tents are. How's the 4 teams? Another one into the leg side, but the fielder will cut that off. Graham Kennedy. Delaney's looking imperious out there now. 47 from 27. Building a nice total, a nice platform here for the Reds. Looking for, as you can see, bottom of your screen there, 152 for victory.
I think he's riding his luck here, Gareth Delaney, but Matt Ford will face the final delivery. Nicely played off the hips. Single from the last, 12 from the over, and Munster Reds now 62 for 2.
Thanks, Isabel, for the moment. She'll be back with us for the conclusion of the game. Andrew Blair White's going to join me for the next few overs. Interesting stage of the game as well. Andrew Blair White 62 for 2 off 7. Gareth Delaney riding his luck at times, but 47 from 27, and Matt Ford alongside him 11 from 7. They're well above the run rate of that target of 152. They really need to get rid of Delaney now, the Warriors.
Yeah, they do. And I think it's been a very good aggressive innings from Gareth Delaney. As you say, he's taking his chances. He's got a few streaky boundaries away early, but some real good hits in there as well. Certainly the murmurs from the sideline in the Munster Reds camp is that it's a very good pitch. Certainly a pitch that they believe they can chase 152, and they're well ahead of that rate at the moment, which is the most important thing. As long as they can keep that required run rate in check, they should be able to get very close to this.
Oh, you can hear from here the scream of anguish from Alford. That was down the leg side. Easy pickings for Ford. Just whips it off his leg for a boundary.
Yeah, it's a lovely shot. It is a bit of a gimme, as you say, John, but still got to be put away. And it's nothing more satisfactory than getting a nice leg glance away for Ford. Ford's little cameo here at 15 has just been as important as Gareth Delaney's after 2 big wickets falling.
Yeah, takes 2 to tango. And Ford is backing up the big hitting Delaney out there. Very nicely steered down to third man for a single. It's a lovely evening here, isn't it, Andrew? Fine ground. We can see the ground actually in all its glory here. It really is a lovely setting up here. Trees in the background. Lovely ground. Not the biggest ground in the country, but a fine pitch. The players are speaking very highly of it. And the spectators that have come in here and those you watching, you're getting a decent game of cricket here.
You know, it's an absolutely lovely place to be. John, I'd echo everything you've said there in terms of just how lovely it is when that sun is now beating down on us, and after yesterday's rain and the frustration this morning with the wet outfield, it's great to get a game in and get what's such a competitive game in as well. A lot on the line for these two sides.
Yeah, Gareth Delaney is now giving Graham Ford, the Irish coach, another option here, isn't he? In terms of perhaps maybe open the batting for the T20 side in the World Cup matches to come against Namibia, Sri Lanka and the Netherlands in October. That second qualifying stage before the main event starts itself. The top 2 will qualify for the finals itself. The way he's going about his business here, this will please Graham Ford.
Yeah, well, I think he's certainly in the plans. You'd have to think if he's going to be fully fit, he'll be in that top 11. Where he comes in the batting order is probably more of a debate. Mm-hmm. As you say, he has opened the batting an awful lot for the Leinster Lightning up until this year, now for the Munster Reds. But that being said, was so effective at that number 4 role as well when previously playing for Ireland in the T20 format. So that may be where he slots in.
Cries of catches, but they won't cut that off. backward a square. Just rolled it off the face of the bat very nicely forward. As you've been saying, the backup that Ford is giving Delaney is paying dividends. Nice shot.
Yeah, lovely shot. There's too much width on offer though from Alford. He'll be disappointed with that. To finish off your over, you're trying to get out without a boundary. Having bowled a couple of dots as well, he was building a little bit of pressure. And at the moment, the Northwest Warriors are a little bit bereft of ideas. These two have come out with a all guns blazing approach, and it's, I think, taken them a little bit on the back foot.
72 for 2 off 8. That's the scoreboard at the far end. Delaney on 48. Munster Reds 72 for 2 as McBride continues from the pavilion end. Got thumped for 6 off his first delivery this evening by Delaney. He's just moved closer to his half century.
Well, that's what I mean with this all-out attack. We've seen Andy McBride bowl so well in good 4-over stints for the Warriors. For Garth to take that approach on first delivery was really excellent intent, and as you see there from Matt Ford, it's not always going to come off, and you potentially can get out doing it, but you're putting a lot of pressure back on McBride, which certainly in interpro cricket we haven't seen that much of this year.
.50 for Gareth Delaney. Just pushes it down the ground. Just 30 deliveries for Delaney, back from injury, opening the batting for the Munster Reds. Crucial innings in their reply.
Yeah, crucial innings, both personally and for the team, for Gareth Delaney. Will mean a lot to him.
Tries to catch it. Can they? No, they cannot. All they can do is watch the ball sail over the boundary ropes. Ross Allen down there. And Ford is joining the party.
Yeah, seriously, good shot from Ford, as you can see there on your replay, almost shaping to play that reverse sweep. He does an awful lot of that where he's changing around in his stance. Brilliant sweep shot for 6.
You don't see Andy McBride get this kind of treatment normally, do you? 9 off this over so far. Way ahead of the run rate. So a couple of dot balls to end the over. 9 off it. 81 for 2 at the end of 9.
I think this also goes to put into reflection. I know the Northwest Warriors batted so well near the back end of that innings with Graham Hume, Graham Kennedy, but how well the Munster Reds bowlers bowled for that first 12-13 overs. They were really, really tight and got the Northwest Warriors probably well behind the rate as a result. That it was a major shock that they ended up getting up to a score of 150.
Yeah, because we were saying at one stage that 120 looked like that being the score, but they did very well to get that far. It was a great innings from Hume in particular, and also backed up by Graham Kennedy with that 30. But now, as you say, they seem to be a bit bereft of ideas. Captain and vice captain getting together down there, the experienced McBride and William Porterfield having a word. Also with the bowler down there, and it looks like Graham Kennedy's going to come into the attack.
Yeah, well, that was probably the right move. Graham Kennedy's been bowling excellently this year, and I'd like to hope in the next couple of overs as well they might bring on Ross Allen as well with his slow left arm. I think he's sometimes criminally underused. Obviously been part of that brigade side that have won everything up in the Northwest this year, including that All-Ireland T20 final down in Rathmines, so we might see him in a couple of overs' time. But Graham Kennedy batted well earlier and just new to spin this year, but you can just see from his action he's got a lovely flowing action. Just more and more overs in the tank will do him the world of good.
Hello, says Delaney as he thumps him over his head for a straight 6.
Yeah, seriously good batting from Gareth Delaney. No rest for a new bowler. Kennedy ever so slightly floaty on his first try, and it's just so short straight. Powered away for 6.
That's good batting. Might run for the second. Yeah, that's good running between this pair. A little misfield down there, but good running from both Delaney and Matt Ford. Keeping the scoreboard ticking over. Hit the big 6 and then run a quick 2 and move ever so quickly towards that target of 152. Warriors need to get rid of one of these two. And quickly.
Yeah, well, Gareth Delaney's obviously just taken the opinion that he's going to go after Kennedy here, not let him settle whatsoever. So often with spinners in T20 cricket, it's all about rhythm. And if you can knock them off rhythm very early on in their spell, they can sometimes struggle to rediscover it.
Absolutely. Puts doubt in the mind, doesn't it, of the bowler, about what I'm going to do next, because they're hitting me all around the ground here. Where am I going to place the ball that they can't? Well, so far, every ball has gone for, well, one boundary, and no dot ball so far is not what the doctor ordered from the Warriors' point of view. The run rate now below 6. Required run rate, that is. Beautiful sound off that Delaney bat, isn't it, when he actually middles it?
Yeah, he's a seriously firm striker of a cricket ball, always has been. I think it's brilliant to see him back out there doing what he does best. Yeah, Kennedy tempting Ford on that occasion. Ford taking the bait, trying to get that big shot away. Off the inside edge for 1. Another expensive over though, 12 from it. 10 gone, the Reds well in the ascendancy here, 93 for 2.
So the equation you can see there, just over a run of ball. Gareth Delaney 60 not out. Moore and Commons going early. They were 15 for 1 and then 16 for 2, but these two have put on a substantial partnership, taking them from 16 for 2 to 93 for 2.
Having a look at that batting card as well, you forget really with the reintroduction of Gareth Delaney and Tyrone Kane, who's such a good batter, just how much it actually adds to the depth of that. Adds to the depth of the Munster Reds batting lineup. You've still got Jack Carty in there as well, has been in the runs for Marion in recent weeks. Conor Alford's coming back into the attack, 1 for 20 for him. This is his final over, and his skipper really needs a breakthrough from him here.
Yeah, basically a run of ball. Sounds like somebody's having a party out the back of us. Music's going. Tempted to join them at the end of this. I think it's a lovely evening. Let's remember the scenario. Warriors win, they're champions. They lose, goes to the game against the Leinster Lightning tomorrow. Second match, 3 o'clock here in Comber. Tomorrow morning's match at 10:30. Due to be the Northern Knights against the Reds. Game 5 of the series. But this is game 4. We didn't have the first 3 all abandoned because of the weather. That's in the air. That could be out. Taken. The end of Delaney. Gone for 60. And Kennedy takes a nice safe catch. He's got a great pair of hands. We've seen that already.
Yeah, it's the end of Gareth Delaney, and it's been a really good innings.
Jared Wilson, my apologies, took that catch. But yeah, 60 off 34. That's a great platform.
Yeah, an excellent innings. Great to see him back on the pitch here. I think I'll speak on behalf of plenty of Irish cricket fans that it is brilliant to see him back hitting balls, getting half centuries, and you know with Gareth that it's always going to come quickly and it's always going to be fun to watch. And it brings back another returning man, their captain Tyrone Kane. Seriously underrated batter, I believe. Kane, he's a seriously good ball striker. Obviously played so many years for the Leinster Lightning, but batting down at 7 or 8. He's come to the Reds. He's now got his opportunity in this middle order, and he's got a great chance of potentially bringing his side to a victory here.
Irish international Kane played in that first test match against Pakistan. Gareth Delaney's contribution 60 off 34. Partnership of 78 between himself and Matt Ford, taking them from 16 for 2 to now 94 for 3. And Alford's second wicket. and this is third over. And that's the partnership they needed to break. But they're still in a very good position here, the Munster Reds, as you can see on your screen there. A run of ball to win with 7 wickets in hand. But what the Warriors will be looking at here now, Andrew, is to apply pressure now that they got rid of the big hitting Delaney. Try and get more dot balls in the bank.
Exactly that. We'll be looking to try and add little periods of pressure here. Conor Alford have been impressed with them. Difficult bowling to destructive players like Ford and Delaney.
And as soon as you say it, whipped to the offside for Ford, who's now going to take over the role of being the one who's looking for the quick runs. That was a cracking shot.
Yeah, it's a seriously good shot. Really not too much wrong with that delivery from Alford, but a few steps down the pitch from Matt Ford, and this has been another really good knock from him. Not the first time this summer that we've seen him in the runs in this middle order for the Munster Reds.
Yeah, assistant coach as well at Leinster Cricket. There's Matt Ford, the 27-year-old. Good knock this. Batted very well in tandem with Delaney. Have we lost the ball? I think we have. It went behind the sights or the screens over there, so I think they're waiting for the ball to come back. Yeah, I think they've lost a white one, so our match referee Phil Thompson having to come to the middle to give Alan Neal a new white ball to replace the other one. 54 runs off 56 deliveries now is what the equation is. 98 for 3 in the 11th over, in a lovely September evening here at the Green in Comber. We had hoped to bring you 6 matches in total. Sadly, the weather intervened yesterday. This morning was dry but very, very misty as we arrived here this morning at 10 o'clock, and the ground took an awful long time to dry out. We got some very good sunshine around midday into the 1 o'clock period, which helped dry out the ground. And now it's a lovely summer evening. It's a nice bit of heat indeed in that sunshine too. So pleasure to be here to bring you this game. All important game. Warriors win, they victors of the tournament. They lose, it goes down to the final game against the Lightning tomorrow.
Yeah, really excellent work that from Graham Hume down at the long on boundary to prevent them getting back for 2. It's the quick release that's the key in those situations. But I think Tyrone Kane, knowing the way that he usually bats, is going to take the aggressive option here. I think for the Munster Reds, you've got to try and keep the foot on the accelerator.
Former captain of the Ireland under-19 side. Made his international T20 debut in the summer of 2015. Now captain of the Munster Reds. That's the bowling card.
Yeah, ends Conor Alford's 4 over spell. 4 overs, 2 for 26, and give him the slight carnage throughout this innings. That's a real impressive effort from the young man from Breedy. Nice action. Nice strong looking bowler. Graham Kennedy going to bowl his second over here. The first one went for runs. That first delivery going for 6 off the bat of Gareth Delaney. Ended up going for 12 in the over. He'll be looking to try and tighten it up now from the Mount Alexander end.
That's a good start. He went for 12, as you mentioned, in that first over of his. In fact, first ball, Delaney pumped it over his head for a 6. Won't chance the second. Kane yet to get off the mark. And this will be beneficial from Warriors' point of view. If they can just tie down Kane as he tries to build some kind of innings here, he's going to have to... well, he's got plenty of time. You can see it's 52 of 52, so there's no panic yet. Plenty of wickets in hand too. But they just want to get his eye in, and the Warriors will just try and cut off the supply and just tighten the screw a little bit if they can, but nicely pushed into the leg side to get off the mark Tyrone Kane.
Yeah, I just have to wonder, when you're trying to build those dots, as you say, John, the fact that you can just easily access a single on the leg side there, no mid-wicket in. It's a bit of a freebie for Kane to get off the mark, and it brings Matt Ford back on strike. Sweeps that one away for one. I just prefer to see that mid-wicket in the ring, potentially make him play that slog sweep across the line. If he wants to go and play it and hit it, more luck to him.
Well, they're pitting to the umpire and for the stumping, but Delaney quickly whipped off the bails, but not out.
Yeah, lovely piece of bowling from Graham Kennedy. A little bit of turn on offer as well, which will encourage him.
This is good over, having been tapped for 12 in his first. Just the 4 singles from it. That's good. That ends the 12th over. 103 for 3. Looking for 152 for victory.
Yeah, good over from Graham Kennedy, and it's going to spark another change in bowling. Conor Alford obviously bowled out, and Shane Getgate's going to come back in to the attack. Well, come into the attack, sorry, for the first time today, should I say. And it was a real breakthrough series for him, for Ireland against Zimbabwe in the T20 internationals, more so with the ball. Operating very well. Ball's no more than medium pace, but plenty of variations, and I think it's a good option to have Stephen Delaney up to the stumps as he is here. It just takes away some of those aggressive options for a batter to try and come down the track to somebody of this pace. Might be able to build a bit of pressure.
Yeah, Getgate was originally in the Irish squad because of the injury to Curtis Camphor. Injury problems. And, it looked like he wasn't going to get a game. But in the third match, Craig Young was injured in the warm-up. And after consultation between the two captains, they allowed Getgate to play as a late replacement. And his first ball is gone for 4. Whipped away in the leg side behind square. And Kane with his first boundary.
Yeah, lovely shot from Tyrone Kane. This is a bit of a gift from Shane Getgate, though. A proper leg stump half volley with fine leg and deep square out. But Tyrone Kane, most importantly, found the gap. Gets a boundary off the first delivery, and means for the Reds that they're again ahead of the game. They've always been 2 or 3 steps ahead in this match so far.
That's in the air. Well, they won't cut that off. Straight 6. Watch out in the pavilion. I was searching for that among the bleachers. What a shot from Kane.
Yeah, well, the local sampling, the local ales will have been in big difficulty there with Tyrone Kane. He slammed it straight into the middle of them. Our cameraman Ger down there as well has had to do a fair bit of dodging and ducking as well.
That's a leg by, I think. There were tries to catch it, but it didn't come off the bat. Expensive start for Getgate here. 11 of the first 3 deliveries. And that's loosened any kind of shackles that Reds might have felt under. Now less than a run of ball. Well, less than that now. 38 from 45. Reds are in the box seat here. And Leinster Lightning will be watching on with this game, won't they, in particular? Because if the Warriors lose, it'll be all to play for in the final match tomorrow. And the way things are going, the Reds, you'd have to say, are favourites.
Oh, very much so. I've just been really impressed with how they've approached this run chase. They've not let a single bowler just settle in. You think about Andy McBride's first ball gone for 6, Graham Kennedy's first ball gone for 6, first 2 balls of Shane Getgate gone for 10. These are three of the most experienced bowlers in the Northwest Warriors side, and they've just boxed them from the offset. It's really good batting. It takes a lot of nerve and a lot of skill to do it, and it's put them in the position they are now, where they're well and truly in the ascendancy.
It's rather a defensive field, you'd have to say. It's been set up here by Getgate. He's got big appeal. He's not going to get that. I'm going to run through for a quick single. The field is spread far and wide.
Well, that's really a testament to the pressure they're being put under in the field. They scamper through for a leg by, and this will all suit the Reds. When you get 2 boundaries away early on in the over, you can just tick away, especially with this sort of field, as you say, John. Singles readily available.
And that's wide. Doheny did well actually to get something on that, prevent the 4.
Yeah, just playing on the mind to get Kate there. Tyrone Kane trying to scoop that one over fine leg, certainly setting up to do so. Get Kate trying to combat that by going wide, overcompensating.
Oh, that's gone straight through. That's wide as well. That's 5. That's all going wrong for Getgate and the Warriors. This has been a very, very poor over, it has to be said.
Yeah, well, that's 5 of the best for the Munster Reds. Getgate this time trying to angle one in to Ford's pads, sliding it down, and as a keeper it's near on impossible to take those ones, especially up to the stumps. This game has gotten away from the Warriors in this over.
Oh, it most certainly has. That'll end it. Painful 1-2, 18 from it. The Reds will take that. Very much in the box seat now. 29 for victory. They're 123 for 3 at the end of 13. And there's the partnerships. They were in a little bit of trouble early on. 16 for 2, but then that third wicket partnership of 78 between Delaney and Ford, taking them to 94 for 3. And they've carried on now to 123 for 3. Ford and Kane, 29 very valuable runs, but that last Getgate over, I would suggest that would probably be the one and only over he's going to bowl today. That was not what the doctor ordered.
No, but it was the pressure being put on him from Tyrone Kane from the outset. Punished those first 2 deliveries for a 4 and a 6. Puts you on the back foot immediately. And it's been excellent from the Reds. They often say 2 big partnerships can win you a run chase. They've already got 1. These 2 are on the way to the second.
Can they catch that? They cannot. That's straight 6. It's a very short boundary down there. William Porterfield is one of the best fielders in the world, but he'd no chance of cutting that off. And they're going about their business brilliantly here today. The Munster Reds, down the track he comes, up and over Porterfield's head. He was never going to cut that off, and 6 more nearer their target.
Yeah, that's where you feel a bit aggrieved if you're Graham Kennedy, because Ford has by no means got any of that. Still gets 6 runs for his efforts.
Oh, the shots are coming out now, reverse. Hammered away for 4. And you can hear the Munster boys away to our right hand side applauding that. They believe.
And as they should, this is Olay cricket from Matt Ford now. Cracking out a reverse sweep. He's hit it like a tracer bullet.
Should be 2. And 50 for Matt Ford of just 31 deliveries. Following Gareth Delaney, who also got a half century. 60 from 34 he got, but a great contribution from Ford as backup. He's the senior man out there now. Tyrone Kane is on 12, and they're closing in inexorably on this total.
Yeah, it's been a brilliant innings from Matt Ford. 2 wickets earlier with the ball as well. It's been a great all-round day for him. He'll just want to be now taking his side over the line. Get that not out in the books.
That's in the air, and it's down Porterfield's throat. Should catch that. Oh my word. Well, it's hard to know what to say, really. I've built him up as being one of the best fielders in the world, and that's one of the easiest catches I've seen William Porterfield drop.
Yeah, I don't think you'll want to watch that one back too many times.
That's one thing that they'd worry about, wouldn't they? Because not only the Warriors, but also the Reds weren't great in the field in terms of trying to catch their catches today. But anyway, on they go. So it's the end of 14, 138 for 3. Andrew and Isabel Joyce is going to take you through to the conclusion of this Munster Reds reply.
Yeah, thank you, John. Having a look at that worm there. It's just polar opposites, really. The Munster Reds have been in the ascendancy throughout the entirety of this run chase, and Isabel, it's really been fantastic to watch. Such aggressive cricket, and they've really executed their skills brilliantly.
It has. It's been a real joy to watch, in particular Matt Ford. I know that Gareth Delaney was the early aggressor, but there was quite a lot of fortune in that innings. Matt Ford has played just so beautifully throughout his innings. A really deserved 50. And Graham Hume returns from the pavilion end, and he gets a wicket with his first delivery in this over. Tyrone Kane dances down, plays across the line, and he's bowled.
Yep, Tyrone Kane was looking to hit this one back to Munster, so it seemed. A big shot. Graham Hume adopting the you miss I hit philosophy, which is rightly so. Top of middle stump, and Kane departs for 14, and the Munster Reds 137 for 4.
Disappointing for Tyrone Kane. He didn't stay out there and guide his side home. Not really needed at this point in time. So one brother's going to join the other. Greg Ford comes out into the middle to join Matt Ford. And not a huge amount of work for these two left to do. Best part of 6 overs still left, and just the 15 runs required for victory.
Yep, as you say, the two brothers now out there together. No longer playing at the same club. Greg moving across to Balbriggan, and has helped them get promoted to the Premier Division of Leinster cricket. So it's great recent success for himself, and he joins his brother, who's batted so well today and deserves to be not out at the end of this game.
Well, this situation suits Greg Ford. He's quite a classical batsman, probably better known for his 50-over cricket. Doesn't need to do anything too drastic here. Just guides it down to third man, hands the strike back over to his brother. Off the mark straight away.
Yeah, very nice start. Greg Ford, as you say, the situation doesn't call for any heroic actions. Just looking to find your way to a not out from here. It's not really a position as a batter that you can win that much. Not an awful lot to gain. Fair bit to lose if you got out, though.
Out.
Big appeal. They're appealing for a caught behind here. Graham Hume and Stephen Doheney were convinced that they had their man. It's just looking a little bit edgy there. Matt Ford really doesn't need to be doing things like that, dancing down the track. We just saw Tyrone Kane perish playing the same shot.
It's hard sometimes in T20 cricket, though, because I know that a lot of the modern day coaches will be looking for their players to continue playing the way they do. Matt Ford's just naturally such an aggressive player. He rarely stands still at the crease. He's always jinking around, trying to open up a new space.
Shuffles across and helps that one behind square. Matt Ford. And a poor delivery from him, too short from him, and it got the treatment.
Yeah, lovely shot from Matt Ford again, as I was alluding to there. Going in and out of his crease an awful lot, shifting around, and accesses that wide fine leg area. Moves on to 55.
Sometimes coming down the wicket's more about the follow-up delivery. It just puts the doubt in the bowler's mind. Made him pull his length back. Now he's danced down. It's over backward point. Third man comes around but can't cut it off. Back-to-back boundaries for Matt Ford.
And he's doing it in a hurry here, Matt Ford. He's getting there very quickly indeed. Flays this one over backward point, and this is going to be a really impressive victory for the Munster Reds. They've shown in this competition that they're not a team to take lightly.
Beautiful shot down the ground. It doesn't get much better than that. Take a bow, Matt Ford. 3 fours in a row. That brings up the 150 and closes out that over. 15 gone. Munster almost home and hosed. 150 for 4.
Yeah, just needing the 2. Now Matt Ford, 63 not out. What a great innings this is. And this is something that I don't necessarily like seeing too much of, really. Ross Allen coming into the attack now. 2 runs to win. If I was saying about a batter not being able to gain much in a situation going out with 10 runs to win, I'm not sure what you can gain from coming on to bowl.
I suppose you can just aim to jag a wicket. That's certainly something that happened to me through my career. There's sometimes a captain likes to throw the ball to someone they don't think will be too scarred by being the bowler that's on when the game is lost. So you just try and get through your over or take a wicket. But he won't take one. That's it. That's the win. 4 runs. 4 more and Greg Ford closes it out, but it was Matt Ford who did most of the damage. 4 from the first ball of Ross Allen's over, and really beautifully placed from Ford. It's been Munster Reds in this innings. So impressive. Just 15.1 overs required to close out victory. Northwest Warriors coming out in the wrong side of this one. They knew if they won, that was the trophy back in the cabinet. But Munster Reds had other ideas. We've been waiting a couple of days for this game and for our first game of the weekend, really, and we haven't been disappointed. And that man on the right of your screen, Matt Ford, has had a fantastic day. 2 wickets for him, and even more impressive was that knock. 60 odd. Nice to do it with his brother. There they are, the 2 Fords. Matt Ford 63 from just 37 deliveries, and it was Gareth Delaney who got them going. 60 from 35. PJ Moore and Murray Cummins not really able to get things going. Tyrone Kane was good while he was in, but threw his wicket away, really. 4.5 overs were left when the game was actually finished.
Yeah, having a look at those partnerships there. All about those main partnerships in a run chase always, and the 78 between Gareth Delaney and Matt Ford was really the mainstay, but also then the 43 between Ford and Kane. The thing about these partnerships as well, Isabel, was they were scored at such a terrific run rate.
Yeah, the batsman coming in got going straight away. I think that was the difference between the two teams. Matt Ford in particular, when he came in, just looked at ease. Tyrone Kane didn't take too many deliveries to get going. And even Greg Ford, just 5 from just 7 deliveries, he didn't look troubled. Really well measured innings from Munster Reds, and actually if they batted first, you wonder what total they would have put on the board.
Yeah, well, certainly the idea beforehand was that the pitch was good, the pitch was going to play well, and that it did. Really, the Munster Reds bowled so well in that first 10 to 12 overs, as you could see from the Northwest Warriors bowling figures there, just how hard it was. Bar Conor Alford, who took 2 for 26 from his 4 overs. Not a single bowler operating at a run rate below 10, which is a pretty damning look at it for the Northwest Warriors, but also just how well the Reds batted.
Well, how often do you see Andy McBride go for any kind of runs? 10.5 it was his runs per over, just 2 overs for him. I think Kennedy was actually unlucky. He bowled pretty well. He was punished whenever there was any slight mistake in his length. Had a chance dropped as well, so should have a wicket really. Gate was expensive as well, and so was Macbeth. Hume going very unusually for him as well at 10s.
Yeah, all very unusual really, some of those Northwest bowling figures, because it was just an onslaught from the Reds. They obviously came with an approach and a tactic to go hard and to try and chase these runs down. It looked at half time, I thought that 150 might be a bit of a slippery run chase, but instead it was a real brilliant effort from the Munster Reds. So that's enough from myself and Isabel. We wish you very well, but we're going to hand over to the post-match presentation with John Kenny, who has the player of the match.
Thanks very much, Andrew. Yeah, it was a cracking game. Munster Reds get over the line and deny the Warriors the victory today, which they needed to win the IP20 series. So they're going to have to wait and play the game against the Leinster Lightning tomorrow to determine who will be champions for this year. Our player of the match, Matt Ford, great 63 today. Big win for the Reds, and you've denied a team the championship as well. So good win.
Yeah, I think we just wanted to win, full stop. It wasn't really about anyone else. Just we knew we were still in with. I think we're still in with a chance to win the whole thing if things go our way. So that's all we were focusing on. And yeah, our captain is back, TK. So great to get his first win actually, because PJ was our skipper while he was out injured. So chuff for TK.
What was the feeling like in the dressing room at the break? Did you think that they just got away from you a little bit?
I think Hume obviously played a really good knock at the end there, but yeah, I think we didn't hit our mark at the death probably as well as we should have. But I think we thought the deck had gotten better in the second half. But yeah, so I think PJ said 170, which it might have been right, but I think at half time we thought it was in the balance there.
What do you make to the pitch out here? Everybody's been talking very nice things about it. Boundaries are a bit short, we know that, but the pitch itself?
I think it did a little bit early on, which is understandable, and then it seems like a cracker. It's got some good pace in it, so credit to everyone here at North Down.
Yeah, you've got a match tomorrow morning now against the Knights. How do you think you're going to approach that? Obviously looking for another win, I presume.
Yeah, of course. I don't know, same approach, pretty relaxed. Ted likes to keep us pretty relaxed. So I think we'll just go in with the same sort of approach.
Okay, well enjoy tomorrow. Congratulations on your player of the match performance today, 63. Thanks for joining us, Matt Ford.
Thanks, John. Thank you.
So, Matt Ford gets player of the match, and the Munster Reds deny the Warriors for the moment a chance of wrapping up the title. So they're going to have to wait. So tomorrow at 10:30, it's the Knights against the Reds. And then the final match of the series, it's the Leinster Lightning against the Northwest Warriors in a perhaps winner-take-all match, and that will be the second game at 3 o'clock. The first match is at 10:30 in the morning. Weather permitting, we're going to bring you every single ball. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage today. We'll see you in the morning. Thanks to Isabel Joyce and to Andrew Blair White and all the production team from HBB. I'm John Kenny. Till tomorrow morning, bye for now.